And I think that's the origin of my probably irrational, slightly rational, but probably hyperbolic apprehension about going anywhere where there might be scorpions. All right, so this sounds like, a poem I can squeeze into my list. But, one of the saddest things when I was younger and we moved, and we left it behind, so I'm sure it got good use. But we had the whole collection. I don't know if it was like the Great Western. I don't know exactly what it was called, but it's like 50 different books, all hardbound, all had that great book smell. Um, and it was everything from like Descartes and Socrates and Plato, just all in a row. And I used to just like sit on the floor against the bookshelf trying to read and understand. And some of that stuff when I was younger, like there's words in there that over my head. So, but I used to try to read through them and understand them anyway. And thank you so much for helping someone become green officer. That's super awesome of you. But yeah, gotta work on my reading list. This isn't old. This isn't something I've read recently. I just have it next to me. Um, but a lot of my reading nowadays is like nonfiction, business oriented, and which is helpful. I'm not knocking that at all. But you don't really get to zoom out into another world reading stuff like that. So court's supposed to start like now. Even the law and crime counter is like they haven't even gone live yet. So who knows? Who knows? Maybe we'll find out we have a jury issue. Because there were several issues yesterday, you guys. Kathy Roussan said, one has a new job that she'd have to move to take, and they want to hear from her employer before they make a decision on releasing her. The state doesn't oppose releasing her, but the defense wants to reserve until they find out what her employer says. And then there's a few others expressing hardship, and one has a medical procedure coming up. So, and one juror wants 2 days a week to be able to leave by 2 p.m. to referee a sports games. So I think like the jurors are kind of like over it. Like, the medical procedure is one thing that was probably booked way in advance, right? But deciding you want to move on with, I want to start reffing twice a week and leave early, presenting that to a judge, a judge is not going to tell you, okay, yeah, I'm going to let you do that. We're going to end court 2 days a week early every week for this. But you're so over it that you're willing to ask and bring it up. That's what I'm thinking. This juror's got to be ready to be out. And they missed their opportunity to take that chance a week and a half ago. SD says, a lot of scorpion in the Florida Keys. Oh, I did not know that. Keep me away. Keep me away. I know we have a ton of lizards here by me, like geckos. We don't really have the iguana problem that I know Tampa's really bad. Tampa has like iguanas hanging out all over, just surviving and thriving. I did not know about the scorpions in other places. Yeah, scorpions. Yeah, I don't think I really like scorpions. Okay, so this is okay. Kevin G. Here we go, you guys, with the what did we hear? Thank you, Kevin G. Yesterday, I heard Woody say, I don't know what car were used. He used the plural of was. So that would still be not a we. And that's a new word to add to the bucket of things that Woody may have said, but we can't really decipher with 100% clarity. Good point. And it's so difficult. Again, I'm just going to keep going back to it when the jury could be hinging on like one thing one person heard and someone else could hear it a different way. I think that's more important when there's like video surveillance footage. Maybe over lunch I'll find a story. It was about a month and a half ago. a younger kid. He was like 16 or 17 at the time he was arrested. I think he did like 5 years in prison, like basically missed his whole, what would have been like his senior year of high school and his college years. He was identified by a legally blind witness as being an assailant part of a gas station assault shooting robbery, but it wasn't him. And there was like video of just a figure, the back of his head, and I think he had like twists. And so the person in the surveillance footage also had a longer hairstyle. So they're like, okay, this video of a blurry pixelated back of somebody's head plus someone that in a lineup picked his photo out of a lineup. This guy was also legally blind that did this. We're going to convict this guy for 5.5 years or so. I forget what his full sentence was before he was released. Um, but it's just like, video's unreliable too, but clearly the jury in that case was like, oh, it's enough. These pixels are enough. And it's just kind of a scary thing. Thank you, Jess, helping someone become a member. And then 5 more. Look at that. 5 more people. Just help 5 more people become members. Look at that. I love the gift feature on YouTube. It's my fave. And then Tamara, oh, I love nerds. Well, I think you'll love it in the chat because there is like book club going on in the chat. That's what we gotta do like every Monday. Come in. What did you guys read this week? That'll be the chat topic to warm up the day. Super, super nice to get book suggestions because if I go to a bookstore or I go on like a website and I'm like trying to pick a book to read, it's like channel surfing. I'll never actually pick something. I actually kind of enjoy looking for things and never picking something, like book surfing. Oh, I hear some audio. Maybe let me refresh this. All right. And by audio, I mean the white noise when they have the mics muted in court. Okay, and long crime is actually still... We're going to do the same thing we always do. Switch to long crime when it gets its act together. I just refreshed them again and they're still not loaded, but that's they do the closed captioning. So you guys know the drill. We will get closed captioning when we can. Because this feed doesn't have it, so... And then thank you so much, Emmanuel McCrae. Whitaker should have revoked Woody's immunity. Cross-examination already shows her fatal mistake, given the many problems with giving a liar immunity. And he clearly still doesn't understand it. Well, I don't know why this feed is doing this. I mean, I assume it's my internet, but my internet's not giving me any signs of struggle. We gotta show some love to the buffer emoji. Do this. And then Blue's house. Thank you so much, Blue's house. That's 5 more people. There's so many new green members in the chat today. Shout out to Blue's house. You know, another thing I don't have time for is all things comics entertainment. I don't know if this feed is going to work because I'm not having issues in another tab. I opened a random YouTube video and it's not giving me any buffering issues. So I don't know why it would be happening with that tab, but we might just wait for long crime to start. Or I could try 11 Alive. Because I am not doing buffering all day, especially on a day where we're not supposed to have much Adrian love. Okay, so 11 Alive doesn't have a live feed. And Fox also hasn't started, so. All right, we're just going to toggle over here. We will wait. We will wait. And actually, I think if Fox 5 has the closed captions, I think their volume is a little bit more audible. So we can try that if they have closed captions. Sometimes they do. We got the track jacket today.
Okay, everybody's gonna have to talk really loudly today until we can get this sorted out. Which we thought we had sorted, but apparently we don't.
Who's surprised? Who's not surprised?
Mr. Copeland, if you cannot hear me, just let me know, okay? And I will speak louder, okay?
All right.
Is this okay to speak? I'm not trying to yell at you. Is this okay, boys?
Yeah.
All right. Yesterday, when we left, when the Honorable Judge Whitaker stopped for the day, I was asking you whether you remember being in Judge Landel's chambers with the District Attorney Hilton, your lawyer, Ms. Bumpus.
And thank you also, Jen, for the gifted membership. Super nice of you.
Judge Glanville. Do you remember that?
Oh!
Yes. Okay.
He asked about the judge.
Do you remember there being at times other people there, including a court reporter named Ms. Weaver,
Yes.
as well as some security? When I say security, members of the Fulton County Sheriff's Department. You were in custody. You remember that?
It looked like the SWAT team was out there.
Okay. And you were wearing a jail uniform.
Yes.
And were you in any type of restraints? You know what I mean by restraints?
Handcuff.
Okay. And you already said, yes, I'm not trying to repeat anything, but just to clarify what I'm talking about, I wasn't there, and no, Mr. Williams, Jeffrey Williams wasn't there, and no other people who were charged in this case or their lawyers were there. Is that all true?
It was just me and them.
Okay, so it's correct that nobody else other than the people we mentioned.
It was the state and Kayla and the judge.
Okay. Now, during that time, some of the conversation you had with the District Attorney Hilton was not in front of the court reporter. Is that true?
Say that again?
Okay. The court reporter, at times, you saw her working and taking down information, the words, presumably, right?
Yes.
But were there other times that the court reporter was not present taking down what was said between you, your lawyer, Ms. Bumpkins, and District Attorney Hilton?
Yes.
Okay. And you've seen a transcript of that June 10th, 2024 meeting with the judge and District Attorney Hilton, you and your lawyer, right?
What you mean?
Oh, okay. The words by the court reporter coming out on a white piece of paper with the words on it.
Oh, I seen it, but I didn't read it. I don't know.
Okay, that's fine. My question to you is this. During the time that you were speaking with your lawyer, District Attorney Hilton, the three of you, no court reporter, did District Attorney Hilton tell you that if you testified that you were involved with the Donovan Thomas murder, you would be locked up or arrested?
You can ask me that again?
Yes, sir. When you, your lawyer, Ms. Bumpkins, and District Attorney Hilton were speaking, the three of you, just the three of you, did District Attorney Hilton tell you that you would be arrested, locked up, whatever the words are, if you testified to this jury that you had anything to do with Donovan Thomas's murder?
Yes.
Okay. Did District Attorney Hilton tell you, with you, Ms. Bumpkins, and District Attorney Hilton, no one else, that if you invoked your Fifth Amendment right, meaning I'm not testifying, you would be locked up in jail.
Yes.
Other than those two things, did District Attorney Hilton tell you you could testify to anything you want or something to that effect, and you would not be locked up? Just tell the jury. Just think about it. Just
I don't know what you just said.
That's my, I'm sorry. That was a bad question. That's me. Thank you for telling me that I was inartful, is my word. Okay. Other than those two issues you just told, I'm going to get locked up if I invoke the Fifth Amendment. I'm going to get locked up if I testify that I'm involved in Donovan Thomas's murder. Other than those two. So if you don't say those two things, then your use immunity kicks in and you would not be locked up for anything else you testified to. Is that how you understood it?
Yes.
Okay. Now, did you ever ask District Attorney Hilton, why can't I testify if I'm sworn to tell the truth about being involved in Donovan Thomas's murder? Did you ask her why did she exclude that?
What you mean?
Did you ever ask any question to District Attorney Hilton? Let me ask it a different way. Did you tell?
It wasn't no question. We was talking.
Okay.
And we were going back and forth.
And that's what she said.
Objection B.
That's fine. That's fine. Ron.
Sustained.
All right. Let me ask you some questions. I'm going back to your interviews or interrogations or meetings, whatever the right word is, between you and law enforcement, whether federal, gang, homicide, okay? I'm going back to those that we saw the recordings for January 11th, 2015 with Detective Thorpe. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And when you say, it's just for the
Yes.
court. Okay, thank you. The jury saw the meeting or interrogation, whatever, you know, the conversation on January 28th of 2015. Do you remember that?
Yes.
The jurors saw the meeting or conversation on February 20th, 2015. Do you remember that?
I remember all the interrogation that they showed me.
Okay. And then the last one would be February 21, the next day, 2015. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And I misspoke when I said the last one. The last one's really June 10th, 2015. You remember that one?
Yes.
Okay. I'm referring to those, and I'll make it clear which one I'm talking about. But I would like to talk to you about what you said in those different statements, and then if there was a lie, and then whether the police, the district attorney's office, the federal authorities ever came to you to say that we can or cannot, the words corroborate, but that means we verified what you said, okay? We didn't verify. That's what I'm going to ask you, a whole series, okay?
All right.
If I'm losing you at all, Mr. Copeland, it's me.
Let's,
All right. Let's start with, and this is going to be, Your Honor, Jeffrey Williams, or JW 240A. It's an Elisa, and it's State's Exhibit number 378YE, already in evidence. It's June 10, 2015. Interrogation, and Your Honor, the times are 10:36:34 a.m. through 10:36:42 a.m. And Mr. Copeland, do you have you might need those. What I'm going to ask you is, these are a series of conversations with the with the police, different police officers, detectives.
mm-hmm.
And I'm going to go over what you said, and then I want to talk to you about that, okay? The first one that I just announced is the detective asked you, what started it off? Was it really about a windshield? And you answered, no, Nut and Thug had something personal against each other. I want you to hear that, make sure that's what it said, okay?
What started it off? Was it really about a windshield? Nope. Nothing. Throw it at some person against each other.
Okay. What I said, was that accurate or fairly accurate? What you
This,
heard?
this what I heard.
Okay. And what you're saying there, you're being interviewed, if you can tell, that's Detective Dennis, and you heard Detective Gaither's voice. Is that fair?
Yeah.
And you recognize this as June 10th, 2015 meeting. Is that true?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, at that point, you also said, and this is at JW 240B, Your Honor, is in Barry, State's Exhibit number 378.
What started?
YE, and it's at time 3:13:02 p.m. to 3:13:22 p.m. And Mr. Copeland, tell us if you hear this. You said, you know what I mean? Honest to God truth. I asked why they didn't kill Kel. Like, you feel what I'm saying? Why and I'm not saying it, but H-E-L-L, they kill like he wasn't a problem. Did nothing. And Detective Thorpe, remember who he is, the homicide detective?
Yeah, the bald head dude with the script right here.
Yes, sir.
With the what?
And then you said, that's what, I don't know what, and then I can't understand it, so you tell us. Them did. That's why I knew it was something personal between him and Thug. I don't know. Just listen to it and tell us if that's what it says, okay?
I mean, honestly, good truth. Why the hell they didn't kill Cam? Like, you know what I'm saying? Why the hell they kill? Like, he wasn't a problem. Nothing ain't did nothing. Like, I don't know what they done did. I knew it was some person between him and Thug. I mean, but what was person between him and Thug? I don't know.
Okay. And the next one is JW 240C is in Colette. It states exhibit number 378YE from the June 10, 2015 interview, 10:36:47, Mr. Copeland, through 10:36:51. And it's you saying they fell out before me and Cal got into it. And the they, if you need any type of listening to it more, I believe, and you tell us you're referring to Jeffrey and Mr. Donovan Thomas, okay? And tell us if you need to hear more of it.
They fell out before me and Kid got into it.
Is that what it says?
I didn't hear it.
Can we redo it, Your Honor? Is that okay?
They fell out before me and Kid got into it.
Does it say that they fell out, meaning Jeffrey and Mr. Thomas, they fell out before me and Cal got into it? Is that what you heard?
I just heard something about me and Kill. I didn't hear what I said before that.
All right, well, the jurors can make a determination, but that's great. Just whatever you hear, okay? And the next one is JW 241A. That's State's Exhibit number 378YA is in Elisa. That's at 3:01:37 a.m. to 3:02:52 a.m. And Mr. Copeland, this is January 11th. This is about 6, 7 hours, 8 hours after Mr. Thomas has got the big shot. Okay? So this is the morning of January 11th, the next day, Sunday morning. Okay? 2015. And Detective Thorpe, remember being with him that day? January 11th, 2015?
I don't remember the day, but that's who questioned me.
Okay. And on here, just tell us if you hear the Detective Thorpe saying, what made you want to pull you into this situation? And you said, me and him had a problem in the club. Kel, they say, is the little brother. Me and him got into it at the club, probably about no longer than 4 months. So 4 months before January 2015. Just listen to it, make sure that that's what it says, okay?
Tell me exactly what you know dealing with this situation. Like now, everything. Tell me everything. What makes people want to pull you into this situation to happen? Okay. Me and the Kale. You know what I'm saying? Now we had a problem in the club.
Yeah, I don't think it's playing through the speakers.
Okay, well, IT's here, and there's not anything I can do about that.
Yeah, they say this the little brothers, but I thought they were just saying that, but they say they real brothers.
Okay, let's
K-E-L. K-E-L.
let's stop for now. They're here, and maybe they can fix it, even though they had all week last week and it didn't get fixed. We thought it was,
She's
but
chastising
it's not.
IT.
So I'm gonna excuse y'all.
They got a harsher yelling at than
Backup also
the
doesn't
state.
work, by the way.
Alright, so they're gonna let the jury out. I don't know if she'll ask to do anything productive while the jury's out and IT's doing something. So we'll see. YSL Trish. Doug saying hey. Is Jeffrey Williams offering Doug Weinstein a piece of gum? We got a tweet. Doug had made a tweet like 5 or 6 days ago asking everyone to share their favorite moment in Fulton County where they did something completely normal, but the state could twist it into some conspiratorial activity. That right there. Chewing gum. Yeah. Was it Altoids? It was something. Yeah, right? Just like get new microphones. Because remember yesterday, I thought it was hilarious when yesterday started, because they show all of a sudden there's like a ton of microphones at the state's table. And in my head, I'm like, oh, so they don't have to fight over the microphone anymore. But then when Hilton tried to use one of them, the judge was like, remember, that one's not active. It's a plan B in case the other system fails. So the 2 new microphones on the state's table were a plan B. So they did something, but like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not gonna lie, I have noticed this Asiatic as, and I don't like to like notice things like that. Um, but I think for both, so I think I've noticed it with Stillwell and Jeffrey Williams. It looks like they're beefed up in the arms, but then they have the guts. The unhealthy food, and not for nothing, I'm sure they have money on their books, so they have access to snacks, meals. But I'm sure that stuff isn't great to eat day in and day out. I don't like to notice stuff like that, but did notice it. Yeah, stress guts is another thing. They're eating all the noodles. I had an assistant manager where I worked had spent several years in prison, and he would make crazy stuff in the microwave. Like, it was incredible. It was incredible. Like, he would get like minute rice and an onion. Like he would make like Mexican rice just straight out of the microwave. It was just awesome. And I love to cook, so I thought it was cool to learn how to do that with like without a stove and other things. Chicken pot pies. Yeah, too many snacks. Oh, that's right, because they're so they don't even have, they're probably stuck on whatever money's on the books out of vending machine. Just crazy. And I would do that too. Like, I don't know, I eat a lot when I'm tired. I feel like somehow the food is just supposed to wake me up. And then I'll be like, look, I gotta catch up on my sleep and get my life together. And then, whoo, I get it together, stop eating junk food for caffeine, and it drops. So I know some people do the same thing with stress. You said contraband chicken. Ah. Yeah, it used to be so good. I'm like, what are you making? He's like, here's what I do. Here's the whole steps. I was like, this is incredible. And then thank you so much, by the way. So while cross-examination was going on, there were some super chats they didn't want to read over the questioning. But Miss AB, always good to see you. Good morning. The internet is over this trial too. I think that was the stream because it was buffering. Peter Ortiz, good to see you. This is going to be fun. It was. And then look what happened. It was going so well. It was going so well. What do you guys think about how Woody's answering questions? Like, he's not being all that detailed. He's not giving a lot of answers. But we got into some questions about things from back in the day. And he's not really saying, I don't recall. He's saying yes. I mean, yes. Yes. So it's a little bit different. It's not exactly friendly. He's still kind of sitting like a bit closed off. I'm exaggerating to show it on camera here, but it seems like he's still kind of guarded in his body language. And jurors are allowed to interpret that. They're allowed to interpret the body language of a witness on the stand. I feel like I'm interpreting it a certain way. But what do you guys think? And Leah's dad says, Steele's so thorough he's struggling to, quote, dumb down. I do think Steele asks long questions. And it is a bit difficult. I can see why someone might get lost in understanding what they're really being asked, because they'll pay attention to the context at the beginning of the sentence. And then when the question follows, they don't remember how to connect it to what was started off with. So I think he's catching on to that, though, and adjusting a little bit. Spitfire, thanks for becoming a member. No, miss my military mind. Fauna used the mic budget on Grey Goose. And didn't she say caviar, too? No. Yeah, they've got to get it together. I mean, this is a major trial, and they've had to, for anyone that's even just joined since Brian Steele was held in contempt. If you've been watching ever since then, you've already seen like 4 or 5 days have interruptions because of the IT in this courtroom. I don't know why the feed just did that. And also we can switch over. Fox has closed captions. So when we come back, we'll have the captions going. So that'll be a good time. We'll see if their volume's a little bit better than Law and Crime. And then Norma Jean says, what jury took from Woody is he lied to stay out to protect his family from retaliation from what happened to Nut. Yeah, and that's something I really hope, and I'm covering myself, that's something I really hope at least one of the defense attorneys gets into. And maybe they've strategized this. It would be interesting if, I think, one of the female attorneys actually asked these questions of him. So I don't know if Miss Westmoreland is going to question Woody. I don't know if Miss D'Angelo Williams is going to... Mr. Williams, oh my god, I always do that. Mr. Williams is going to question Woody. But if they do, I think it could be a good, warm conversation if they're the ones to ask about, you know, I heard you mention in these tapes, and maybe play that part back, where he says things like, that wouldn't have happened if I was out there. Talking about not just his family, but also his friends. These warmer conversations where it wasn't just, I had to get out of jail, I was trying to lie to get myself out of there. But I wanted to get out of there because I wanted to look out for my family. Why? Because it counteracts the... How many times did Detective Dennis say something like, you need to get out of town, you need to get out of town, take the family, get out of town? It could counter the idea that, you know, we have detectives telling him he should be scared and needs to leave town, versus Woody just wanting to protect his family because people are after him right here. It could warm him up a little bit. It could make it seem like, you know, maybe he truly does feel some guilt for throwing Thug's name out there, thinking, well, they're never going to have anything on Thug that's solid evidence. So I'm going to say his name because he didn't actually do anything. And I'll be good. Everybody will be good. And didn't actually expect an indictment to happen. So I really think that this is a good point. I don't know if it will be Steele's line of questioning. I think it'd be really effective to come from one of the women. And I'm not just saying that because I'm trying to say women should do certain things. I'm just saying, juries do perceive things and how things are delivered by people with different demeanors. And then Nancy New says, they would normally work out during the day in jail, but they have been stuck in court all day every day. Oh, that's a good point. Duh. They're sitting here in these chairs day in and day out. Which, at least some days, it's probably a little bit stimulating, something to do, but having to do it every day. And they got to get up early to get transported. So it's not like it's a field trip when you have to do it every day. But that's true. Yeah, you can't just sit there working out when you're here in the courtroom. Can you imagine if on the recesses they're in the back? They're on the ground, doing push-ups. That is a great point, like an obvious point. Thank you so much, Nancy New. Yedat says, pressure from if YSL, the feds, I wouldn't know what to do either. He made the best out of that situation. I felt a little bad when he finally broke down. Well, I think it's pretty telling the way, to me, Woody does have a little bit of a script when he starts to say the whole, I told you, I lied back then. I told them anything they wanted to hear. But there was 2 moments yesterday and 2 weeks ago when he was on the stand. He had the same type of escalating emotion. And, talking about what we're talking about here, feeling like leading up to a breakdown, hearing him kind of crack a little bit. I think those are all really compelling moments because it comes off as really genuine when the emotions get escalated. And then I think we're coming back. Thank you, that for the super chat. Let's see what they say about these IT issues, you guys. And great reminder, John Robert, he talked to his lawyer. Remember that? And had a whole night, right? Had a whole night to process. So great reminder. Big tit, this is true too. The Steele double talks a lot, saying something once is enough. Yeah, I agree. And I think it makes it more difficult for Woody to really know what he's being asked. I think he's on guard to make sure he's not answering something he doesn't understand. And then Big Tit also says he didn't answer when Steele tried to involve him in the unaliving. And the jury can make of that what they want. Very kind question, kind thought. I think I've got to move the captions up, so I won't forget to do that. I like the Keratin Matthews look today. And Publia Demand, I do think the woman on the jail call yesterday was the baby mom who passed, Deshawn. Because they mentioned her name with she was present for one of the police interview videos, and they wanted her out because she's no longer, able to take the stand for obvious reasons. Oh, they're father and son. No wonder you guys are speaking in plurals. The more you know. Cleaner than the Board of Health. Okay, closed captions are on, but
Thank you. All right.
there they
Y'all
go.
can tell we have sound again. We don't know why. We don't know if or when it will stay with us, but we're gonna, as long as we have it, move forward. Go ahead, Mr. Stewart.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Copeland, we are going to go back to when the audio seems to have gone out. I'm going to play again the JW240C as in Colette, States Exhibit number 378YE. That's a June 10, 2015 interrogation or meeting at 10:36:47 a.m. to 10:36:51. And this is where you are explaining, I believe, and you tell us, that they, meaning Jeffrey and Mr. Donovan Thomas, fell out. They fell out before me and Kel got into it. That's the part. If you could listen again, maybe that was when you said you couldn't hear, maybe there was an audio problem. Your Honor, can we play that through Mr. Kokomo?
Yes.
They fell out before me and kid got to it.
Was that better? Did you hear that?
It was the same.
Okay. All right. We're going to go on then to the next one, which is, again, the audio was out. So if some people heard it, they're going to rehear it. It's JW241A as in Elisa, States Exhibit number 378YA. This is January 11th, 2015 with Detective Thorpe. And this is from 3:01:37 a.m. to 3:02:52 a.m. Your Honor, if we may play that.
Tell me exactly what you know dealing with this situation. Like now, without everything, tell me everything what made you want to pull you into this situation to happen. Okay. Me and the kid. You know what I'm saying? Me and we had a problem in the club. Is that him? No, this nothing. Okay. Kel, they say this the little brother, but I thought they just changed it, but they say they real brother. Kel, K-E-L, K-E-L, Kel. Okay. Okay, go ahead. Little brother of nothing. Yes. Who you identified from the picture, which is Donovan Thomas. Yes, sir. Okay, go ahead. Me and him got into it in the club push. What day was that? It's just like it was like a lot. Okay. So, but 2 months, 3 months, a year, how long? Yeah, about I'm saying no longer than 4 months. 4 months.
So, Mr. Copeland, there, are you explaining to Detective Thorpe that you and Mr. Kel, you know his given name is, you know the name Kelvin Watts? Do you know that name? Okay.
Nope.
Okay. Kel, there you're explaining that you and Kel have been arguing, whatever word you want to use, for approximately 4 months before January 11, 2015. Does that sound like what you said on the recording?
Yeah.
Does that sound right?
Smart, what you mean?
9, 10 years ago, going back, were you not getting along with Shellkel for approximately 4 months. So since maybe we'll say September 2014, does that sound right, what you told Detective Thorpe?
I don't know what I don't understand.
Okay. You told, let's just do it this way. You told Detective Thorpe on January 11, 2015, that you and Shellkel have been arguing since approximately September 2014. The way I got that is 4 months before January 2015.
So you saying when me and him got into it?
Yeah, approximately. That's what you told Detective Thorpe, and I'm asking you, is that true?
Yes, me is what true?
Maybe in September 2014, October 2014, November 2014, December 2014, beginning of January 2014. By that time, by January 11, 2015, you and Shell were arguing. That sound about right?
I don't get what you're asking.
Okay, it's me. It's my fault. Do you remember going into the police department, meeting with Detective Thorpe on January 11, 2015?
No, what I'm saying is I don't know what you're asking me.
I
You
understand.
asked me when me and him got into it?
Yeah, you and Shell got into it approximately, if you could tell the jury.
Like 2014?
Okay. Okay. Now, on June 10th, me and him was into it for a minute. Okay. Does about 4 months before Mr. Donovan Thomas was, God forbid, killed sound right? And if it doesn't, or you don't remember,
I don't know.
that's
I
fine.
don't.
That's fine. And I thank you. I'm going back to the June 10th, 2015 meeting or interrogation with Detective Gaither, Detective Dennis. You know which one I'm talking about? Detective Thorpe at the time, ATF agent Cunningham at times. I'm on June 10th, 2015. When you told law enforcement, or do you remember telling law enforcement that Jeffrey and Donovan Thomas were arguing or had a falling out before you and Shell had a falling out? Do you remember saying that?
I don't remember what I told no investigators.
Okay. Did you hear that on the recording we just listened to? Did you hear you saying that?
What I just say?
On the recording that Jeffrey and Donovan Thomas fell out or were arguing?
I would have told the investigators anything.
Okay. The truth is that, to your knowledge, your observation, so you saw with your eyes and you were present with your ears, Jeffrey and Donovan Thomas were, your words was, big homie. Is that true? They were friends.
Can you say that again?
Yeah. From your observation, by January 2015, you knew that Jeffrey and Donovan Thomas were friends. Is that true?
Right.
Okay. And what you said to the police was what you've been explaining. You would do anything to get the police to stop looking at you. That's all you were trying to do, to go home.
Right.
Okay. Now, were you present on December 4, 2014 at 250 Auburn Avenue in Atlanta? Do you know where that is?
I don't remember nothing way back then. I don't know.
That's fine. I'm going to show you, with the court's permission, I'm going to show you a photograph of the building, 240 Auburn Avenue. Your Honor, I'll mark this if that's okay with the court. Can I have 1 second, Your Honor?
Sure.
I'm just looking for a number. Your Honor, I'm going to mark it with the court's permission. It's Jeffrey Williams 251.
All right.
And we will put it on the thumb drive again.
Okay.
If you can, sure. It's about to come up. A building?
So do you
I'm
not
just-
have hard copies of these things?
I don't have a copy of that one.
Okay, well, show it to the witness before we publish it.
Thank you, Mary
for-
Alice and SD
Mr.
for
Kokomo,
becoming
can you
new
approach, Your
members.
Honor?
Yes.
Thank you.
And yes, it is time to sing Beach Boys in the chat.
Did you show them the whole building?
You have Mr. Kokomo fix the audio.
It's the next one. That's one. Show it to the state though, because I don't think you showed it.
And Brandon Beal says, when Steele slows down, it is a masterclass in cross, so cut the mic. Cut him off. Make it more difficult.
You are correct. May Mr. Kokomo approach Mr. Copeland again, Your Honor?
He may, once he's got whatever this is screenshot.
Mr. Copeland, if you just look at this picture, again, it's a more
And remember, Steele's got all day to get where he's going.
of that building that I'm referring to.
It's big.
This is the building.
What about it?
I'm going to ask you some questions. Thank you, sir. Do you remember, and the date doesn't matter that much, but do you remember being present, or were you present, for the shooting of a music video on December 4th of 2014 at that location you were just shown by Mr. Kokomo?
I ain't never seen that building,
Okay,
even today.
okay, that's fine. Do you personally know whether Mr. Thomas and Jeffrey Williams were doing a music video on December 4th, 2014 in Atlanta at 250 Auburn Avenue?
No, I don't know.
Okay. Have you seen the music video, or do you know of the song In My Blood by Jeffrey Williams, Bloody J?
Yeah,
All right. Do you have any knowledge of where that was videoed, meaning the music video? And if you don't, that's fine.
I don't.
All right. You weren't present for that.
No, I wasn't.
All right. Were you present in Miami, Florida over the New Year celebration going from December 30th, December 31, 2014, striking into January 1, 2015? So that's going to be about 10 days before Mr. Thomas is, God forbid, killed. Do you remember being in Miami, Florida?
Was I there?
Yes, if you remember.
No, I don't remember being there.
Okay. Do you remember seeing in January of 2015, after Donovan Thomas was, God forbid, killed, do you remember being present at shows with Jeffrey Williams and, you know who Rich Homie Quan is?
Yeah,
The performer? You know,
yeah.
do you know him as Mr. Lamar too, or do you know the name Mr. Lamar?
I just only know Rich Homie.
Okay. Do you remember seeing, after the killing of Donovan Thomas, seeing Rich Homie Quan and Jeffrey together
What you mean?
in Florida performing at shows? Were you present?
You said when? At what time?
Shortly after Donovan Thomas, God forbid, was murdered. So January 2015.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, were you personally aware, you were at Jeffrey Williams' home after Donovan Thomas was killed? At some point, Donovan Thomas, God forbid, is killed. At some point, you are actually at Jeffrey Williams' home in Atlanta. Is that in the Sky House? Is that true?
What you mean?
Okay. So I'm locking in on the date that Donovan Thomas is killed. I'm just telling you the date. I'm not asking you to remember, but it's January 10th, 2015, okay? But Donovan Thomas is killed that night, or he's shot that night, okay? I'm asking you this. After he's shot, do you remember being at Jeffrey Williams' home at some point at the Sky House in Atlanta, Georgia?
Man, my mind, I had blanked out. Too many people were calling. I can't remember everything that happened that night.
Okay. Do you, it's okay. I'm just asking questions. We're getting you're giving the testimony. It's fine. After Donovan Thomas is killed, after the news got out that he's killed, the information, did you ever see a posting by Jeffrey Williams about Donovan Thomas's death that night, or January 11, 2015? Do you remember that on social media?
I don't remember that night.
Okay. All right. Okay. Did anybody with the police department, the federal authorities, homicide, I'm including everybody, or the district attorney's office ever come back to you and say, hey, I want to talk to you more about Jeffrey Williams and Donovan Thomas falling out like you told us? Did they ever try to corroborate that? And if that's a bad word, I'm going to rephrase it.
Once I got out?
Anytime. Did they ever come back to you and challenge you or ask you about this conversation that you had?
I can't remember if they have. I don't think. Outside the interior, once they went locking me up, we went there to talk about.
It was over, right? You gave your statement. They don't come back to you and ask you about this, right?
Right.
All right. I'd like to go to another part of your statements. And this is where you told the detectives, again, it's June 10th, 2015, that you tried to get Mr. Williams or Jeffrey, and do you know who Bloody J is?
I heard of him.
Do you know the given name Justin Ussery, excuse me?
Who would it?
That's fine. I'm going to use Bloody J, okay? Do you remember telling the police, and this is, Your Honor, JW240D, as in David States Exhibit number 378YE, it's June 10th, 2015, meeting, interrogation, whatever, word conference, with law enforcement and Mr. Copeland. It's at 10:40:37 a.m. to 10:41:08 a.m. And Mr. Copeland, tell us if you hear this, okay? And if it's not, you correct us. Detective Dennis tells you, so the night at Crucial, when you were saying they jumped on you, you said, when all the, and I'm just not saying it, but SHI blank popped off. So what happened, this is Detective Dennis, what happened when you came outside with Bloody J? Because you were saying last time, and then there's overlapping conversation, meaning I can't understand it, multiple people speaking. Then you said, then Detective Dennis said, when you were trying to bring everybody back together. And the Detective Dennis said, you were like, is he ready? And Thug or Jeffrey kept saying, nah, he ain't ready. You remember that? That was Detective Dennis saying, you remember you told us that when you said, and you said, you mixing things up. You're talking about the time we was in when I called Bloody J and tried to get him and Jeffrey or Thug, you said, back cool. That's what I'm targeting, okay? So please listen to it. If I said it wrong, just say it right. Your Honor, can Mr. Copeland listen to this, please? And the jury.
So the night at Crucial, that when you were saying they jumped on you, right? When all shit popped off. So what happened when you came outside with Bloody J? Because you were saying the last time you were trying to bring everybody back together. You was like, is he ready? And Thug kept saying, nah, he ain't ready. You remember that? You remember you told us that? When you said
you mixing it up. You're talking about the time we just made shit try to get him to throw that cool.
Remember saying that you were, the discussion, Detective Dennis is telling you, you were trying to bring everyone back together, make everyone, friends again. Remember Detective Dennis saying that? You just heard that?
I just heard.
Okay. And then you said that you called Bloody Jay and tried to get him and Jeffrey or Thug back cool. Do you remember saying that? Or did you hear that?
Again, I'm talking to the investigators. I'm trying to tell them anything.
Right. That's not true. Right. You were just trying to get out of custody or jail. You want to go home, right?
I've been telling y'all that for the longest.
Sustained.
The statement the jurors just listened to, you were trying to finesse or lie to the investigators to get them off of you so you could go home, right?
That was my plan.
It was a lie, right?
My plan was to spin the police, hoping they'd let me go.
And did the police ever show you, or the district attorney's office, any cell phone records of you and Bloody Jay speaking at all on the phone?
What you mean?
When you said to the detective, I called Bloody Jay and tried to get him and Thug back cool, did the police ever come back to you at any time, or the district attorney's office, and say, here are jail records, excuse me, here are cell phone records showing you and Bloody Jay talking? Did they ever try to do that with you?
No, once they took me to jail, I don't hear from them until I'm back on the street and I'm going back to jail again.
Any time while in jail that you called Bloody Jay and said, wow, I tried to get everyone together. And that never happened, right?
Huh?
Had a phone call with Bloody Jay while that would be recorded?
I never had Blood J number a day in my life.
Did the police ever come to you or the district attorney's office to say to you, to challenge you, or to tell you, hey, we know this to be true or not true? Did they ever do that with you?
Huh?
Did the police or the district attorney's office come to you and challenge you on that statement and say, hey, we have information, this is true or not true? Did that ever happen? It's the same question. The single question. Did the police ever do that at the district attorney's office?
No.
Okay. I'm going to go to another one. This is your statement again.
The chat. He laid out something that was demonstrably not true, that Kenneth Copeland told detectives in 2015. He was never going around trying to play mediator with Bloody Jay. He never called him. Kenneth Copeland just says, I never even had his number. But he's telling detectives that he was the one trying to mediate everything back then, and the state ran with what they learned through this interview. And then Steele calls out the state for not doing anything to verify it. They just ran with it. Even though we heard Hilton try to tell Kenneth Copeland and the jury, and it was objected to, did you know that they verified everything? Like, there's a lot happening here, you guys.
2015. Your Honor, it's JW, Jeffrey Williams, 240E, as in Aaron. It states exhibit number 378YE. And Mr. Copeland, this is at 10:45:09 in the morning to 10:46:01 in the morning. And on this one, what I'd like you to listen for is you saying, if you did say, you tell us, yeah, so I'm like, and I'm not saying, but darn, but it says another word, but this SHI blank happened, but before that happened, me and Kel was face to face. You know what I mean? Detective says yes, or uh-huh. Then you say, truth be told, I walked up on him, meaning Kel, with Shannon, me and him, it was me, D, my baby mama, and her friend. You said, the text said, uh-huh. You said, it was Kel and about 5 more other, I'm not saying, but ends. All right, look, bruh, you know what I mean? I got a problem with you, bruh. You know what I mean? This SHI blank here, we've been knowing each other. Detective says, right. And you say, I'm telling Kel that, bruh, this SHI blank ain't about them, bruh. You know what I mean? What the HELL? Woo-woo. We talked like while me and Kel talking, Kel, you know what I mean? All this SHI blank really about Thug. The truth, this is the truth. So detective says, so Kel's beef is not with you, it's with Thug. And you say, yeah, it was with Thug. Detective says, well, then why he? And you said, it was a cover-up. You're not listening. It was a I was the cover-up. I want you to listen to this and tell me if you hear what I said. If not, just correct it.
Yeah, I said something like that. But they had, but for the heck, me and Kill face to face. Now, I mean, truth be told, I'm a mom. With channel. Man, it was me, G, my baby mama, and her friend. It was Kill, and about 5 more with me. I'm like, look, bro, I mean, I got a problem with you, bro. I mean, this shit here, we been on each other. I'm telling Kill that, bro. This shit ain't about me, bro. I mean, what the hell, we talk. Like, why me and Kill talking? Kill really not saying. I mean, all this shit really about cool. The truth, this is the truth. So Kill's beef is not with you, it was girl. Why? I was the cover up. You're not listening, I was the cover up. Listen.
Did you hear that, Mr. Copeland?
Yeah, I heard.
What I said, is that what you heard?
I heard it.
Okay. And you were doing the same thing you've told the jury over and over again, right? I was lying to the police because I wanted to go home, and I was putting it on Jeffrey, right?
This is why I keep telling you.
And the police, you knew, wanted Jeffrey. They wanted to make a case against Jeffrey. They made that clear to you, right?
Yeah, they did.
So it wasn't that hard for you to realize, and I'm not saying you're not, using your finesse, but you knew who the police wanted you to implicate's my word. That's a bad word. You knew who the police wanted you to say is the person responsible for this death, right?
I didn't think they were going to go after him.
Okay. And you knew that they wanted information from you about Jeffrey. True?
Yes.
Now, when you talk about your baby mama, did you hear that in the recording we just listened to?
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about the Honorable Miss Deshawn Quarterman, right? That's her name?
Yeah.
Okay. And
Honorable.
you're
Yay.
aware that Miss Deshawn Quarterman, your child's mother, had spoken with multiple, but Detective Gaither at times. True?
What you mean?
During this time.
Yeah.
And we know that because remember hearing some jail calls yesterday that the district attorney's office played for you, and you even asked Miss Quarterman or Deshawn to call Detective Gaither on one of those recordings, or two of those recordings. You remember that?
Yes.
And you asked Deshawn Quarterman to text Detective Gaither. Do you remember that, hearing that yesterday on the jail calls?
Yes.
Do you have any information that Deshawn Quarterman or Detective Gaither or anyone else came to you and said, hey, we corroborated, we spoke with Deshawn, and she said, yep, I was there when you made it good with Kel, and it's all about Thug. It's all about Jeffrey. Did that ever happen?
The police never talked to her without me knowing. They never talked to her.
Period, right?
Yeah, they didn't. They talked to her when me and her was in the interrogation room, and they really didn't say that to her.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. And of course, it's a lie that you and Kel were on good terms, and that it was all about Jeffrey. That was a lie. That was part of your attempt to get the police off of you so you could go home. True?
What you mean?
That's why you said this, because you wanted the police to to get away from you. You wanted to go home.
Right.
Okay. I want to go to, it's Jeffrey Williams number 240F as in Fox. It's State's Exhibit number 378YE. Your Honor, this is June 10th, 2015. It's already an evidence meeting, interrogation conference, interview, whatever it is called, at 10:49:25 a.m. to 10:50:09. And Mr. Copeland, I want you to listen to this, that you are saying to law enforcement. So when they ended up leaving, we pull up at the studio. This end was there recording a song, meaning Jeffrey. That song that we pull up tonight, he did that song. I mean, like, he did it so fast, like, damn N just shot at you, come make a song. So this is what I'm thinking, this damn, so we're up there chilling. So everybody was up there at the studio. So Thug dialed 911. He had a bullet hole in his car. So he want to know who shot his car. You know what I mean? I want you to listen for this. If I said it wrong, you got to correct me, please.
So when they leave, we put up at the studio. This nigga was never recording song. That song that Lil Woody put up probably tonight, he did that song. I mean, like, he did it so fast, like, damn, nigga, this shot come like a song. So then no thing, damn. So we got that chill. So everybody at the studio got paid. So Doug like, yeah, we know what's in cup. So he's like, well, he wanna know who shot his cup. I mean,
Did you hear that, Mr. Copeland?
Mm-hmm.
Did I say fairly what it says? Was I fair?
That's what it sounds like.
Okay. Did the police ever come to you after you reward them with this information and play for you or even tell you, hey, here's the 911 call made after the gambling house was shot up and a supposed bullet hit Jeffrey's car? Did that ever happen?
No.
Did the district attorney's office ever come to you and say, hey, we had the 911 call that Jeffrey Williams phoned in, like you told us, on June 10, 2015. Did the district attorney's office ever play for you that 911 call?
No.
There was no 911 call. You were just trying to get out of the police, right?
Sustained.
Was there a 911 call to your knowledge that was ever shown to you to corroborate, to verify, to support that statement?
No.
You're aware, if you're not, just say I'm not, that 911 calls are maintained or held by the police? You know what I'm talking about? That they're saved. They can be retrieved. If I'm asking a bad question, just say.
Yeah, they are.
District Attorney's Office nor the police ever came to you with that 911 call?
Did y'all? I don't know.
Okay,
I don't know.
okay. I'd like to go to Jeffrey Williams 240G, as in Goldfeder, State's Exhibit number 378YE, as in Aaron. It's again, Your Honor, the June 10, 2015 meeting with Mr. Copeland and the detectives. Now it's at 3:47:32 p.m. to 3:48 p.m. 00. And Mr. Copeland, if you can just listen for and tell us if this is accurate. You said, and we're still talking about the car windshield. Remember all this conversation about Jeffrey wouldn't let it go until his car windshield was paid for? Remember all that?
Mm-hmm. I'm listening.
Okay. And it should say, and correct us if I'm wrong, that you said, yeah, so when me and Kel was like, well, we wanted to see what Thug got to say. So I called Kel on FaceTime with Kel, and Kel like, I ain't let SHI blank go until you pay for my window. You know what I mean? And Detective Dennis says, Kel said that or Thug said that? You said Thug. Thug, yeah. Detective Dennis said, okay. You said Thug like, I mean Kel like, what? Pay for your window. So he looked at me. I'm about to go. I ain't got nothing to do with it. That's on y'all. So I'm out of here. I'm out of there, bruh. You know what I mean? Like, man, get nut on the phone. You feel me? That's what Kel was saying. I want you to listen to it and see if I've said that accurately.
So when me and Kill seen Church Henry, Kill like, well, you gonna see what Thug got to say. So I called Thug on FaceTime for Kill. And Kill like, it ain't that shit go till you pay for my window. I mean, Kill yeah. Thug like, Kill like, what? Pay for your window? So he look at me like, I'm like, bro, I ain't got nothing to do with it. It's on y'all. I'm out of there, bro. I mean, like, man, get that on the phone. You did. It was Kill was saying.
What I said, was that accurate?
Again, I tell the police anything, get them out my face.
Okay. And at that time, by 2014, 2015, you knew Jeffrey was wildly popular in music. Is that fair to say?
Since I've been knowing that he's been popular.
And he was also popular, if you observed it, in fashion, meaning like dress,
Yeah,
social media. He had influence.
yeah.
And he was owning several homes, to your knowledge. True?
I don't know what he owned.
Okay. How about cars? He had several cars.
Yeah,
And he would allow people to use those cars. He was free with that stuff, right?
yeah.
And he would rent cars for other people too, even if he didn't own it. Is that true?
I don't know what he do for other people, but it wasn't no issue.
He rented cars for you. Fair?
Huh?
He rented cars for you if you needed it. Isn't that true?
He's already said yes to this before.
What you mean?
You would drive at times a rental car with permission of Jeffrey Williams that he rented. It wasn't a big deal, right?
I used to just go get the car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And it wasn't only you, it was anybody. He's generous, right? With his things.
Sustained, you can rephrase.
It's fine. All right. You also knew at that time, 2014, 2015, Jeffrey would fly on private planes. True?
Yeah.
And he would allow you at times, I don't know the number, you could tell the jurors, to go on a private plane with him. Fair to say?
Yeah.
And you knew he was touring America at that time, right? He was performing all the time, right?
Yeah, he was, yeah.
And he would do tours throughout America. You're aware of that?
He used to go to, I don't know what tour is, but he used to go to the different clubs and stuff.
Okay. And do you remember him having go to different cities throughout America?
I mean, this is what I need to say.
That's fine. And Europe, countries like England and France.
Sustained.
Jeffrey would play in other places, not in America, outside America. You're aware of that, right?
What's the relevance?
So relevance is that Mr. Copeland's telling the police that Jeffrey Williams cared about a window.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. Say that again.
Jeffrey Williams cared about a car window. The man is...
Okay, I'm not sure the one has much to do with the other, so I'm going to sustain that objection.
When you told the police that this is about a window, Jeffrey's window. Remember what we just heard? That was part of your finesse, right? To get you out of there.
When the police was questioning me, my only motive was to get me out of the interrogation room free. I was trying to say whatever I can to get them to let me go, to convince them that I would help them. And this just was my motive. Every time they got me, that's what I was trying to do. They were bringing his name up, and they mentioned anybody's name, I was gonna make up a story on them. I was gonna say something about them, hoping that I can convince them to let me go.
And that's what happened here about the windshield, right? Same thing.
I don't remember what I told them.
I just played it.
I heard what I said.
That was part of your attempt to go home, right? True? Not to be locked up.
Right.
Did anybody come to you from the police, the district attorney's office, and say, we corroborated, means support or verified, this car window story? Did they ever tell you that?
After 2000, when I gave an interview and went to the feds, I haven't heard anything from the state, the police, nothing until they catch me in the streets.
Okay.
They haven't told me about nothing. They haven't reached out to me or nothing.
Okay. I'd like to go to the next issue that I'd like to discuss with you, Mr. Copeland. It's JW240H as in happy, States Exhibit number 378YE as in Aaron. It's again the June 10, 2015 interrogation. It's at 10:42:23 a.m. through 10:42:32 a.m. And I'd like you to listen for and tell us if I am wrong where. This is outside of Club Crucial after remember you got into a fight on January 6th, 2015. Remember with the lip and the eye and the knot on the head? Remember that?
And when nothing went wrong, my lip, it was just my eye.
Okay. And it was, the detective said to you, okay, we'll get back to see you 9. He's standing there with Bloody J. You said, so, but Thug pulling my shirt like, there goes Bloody J right there. You know what I mean? Thug and Nard were in the car leaving Crucial that night and firing at either Bloody J or Kel's people. Tell me if you hear that, okay?
Okay, get back to you see 90 standing there with blood. So, but Thug put him a shirt like, there go Bloody J right there, y'all mean?
You hear that?
Yeah, I heard.
Okay. Did law enforcement, do you remember Club Crucial back in 2014, 2015? You used to go there every Monday night, right?
Right?
Approximately every Monday night. And
No, every Monday.
okay. And do you remember ever observing or seeing that there were surveillance cameras inside and outside Club Crucial?
You ever cameras?
Okay. Did the police ever come to you and say, hey, we have the surveillance camera we want you to look at, or the district attorney's office, from January 6th, 2015? Did everyone ever show you anything like that?
I never heard nothing about no cameras.
Okay. I'm going to play on the same issue, same time, dealing with outside of Club Crucial. This is going to be JW Jeffrey Williams 240I as an ice cream, States Exhibit number 378YE. It's June 10, 2015 interrogation, 10:43:20 a.m. to 10:44:18 a.m. And this is you, just make sure it's right. So when we pulled out, Thug and Nard got in the car together. I mean, so when they pulled out, we leave, but when we leaving, Thug and them pull on a side street. I see them pull on a side street. My pulled on the side. He like, what the Hell y'all doing? He like, boy, we want to wait. He come out the club. I'm like, who? He's talking about Bloody J. What the Hell? You know what I mean? I said, I hear the gun cocked back. Detective asked, what had a gun? You said that N-Nard. Detective said, uh-huh. You said, so I hear the gun cocked back. I'm like, what the F? So I tell them, all right. I mean, my brother was gonna have to turn around. Detective says, uh-huh. So you said, so when we go down and turn around and come back, I'm telling brother, SHI blank, just go left. And we just ride the back street all the way to the house. We just hear the SHI blank go boom, boom, boom. And we just see the car, Thug and them in chasing the other car in front of them. You know what I mean? Detective said, that is the same night you got jumped on at the club? You said, yeah, Thug and them chasing them. Because at first they thought they took money from them. Just listen to it, make sure I said that fairly accurately.
We pulled out. I mean, so we pulled out, Thug and another guy come in. I mean, so they pulled out, CBD. But what he did is, I threw the phone fast me. So I went up to the phone fast me. My brother pulled on the side, like, how many days y'all doing? Yeah, but we don't really need to come out the club. I'm like, ooh, he's not playing yet. What the hell, you know what I mean? Done today? I said, gun, cop back. Who had gun? The nigga Nard. So I said, gun, cop back. What the fuck? So I said, I mean, my brother go out and turn around. So when we go out and turn around, come back up. I said, brother, you go left, and we just ride fast, we all the way to the house. We just hit the sheet door. Boom! And we just see the car doing it, and then chasing the other car in front of them. I mean, this is that night that, the same night you got jumped on the car. Yeah. So, throwing and chasing me, because at first we thought they took money from me.
Did you hear that, Mr. Copeland?
Yeah, I heard.
Was it fair what I said?
What you mean?
What I said was that what you said. Did I take your words and the detective's words accurately? What I said beforehand.
I guess.
Did the police, local police, gang unit, federal authorities, district attorney's office, anybody ever come to you with any type of verification of what you said? Did they ever say to you, yeah, this happened or this didn't happen? Did they ever even talk to you about that?
No.
Okay. I want to go to the next issue, and this is JW240J as in Jake. It states exhibit number 378YE. It's the June 10th, 2015 interrogation, meeting, or interview. It's at 3:46:40 p.m. through 3:47:45. And here, Mr. Copeland, you are discussing with the detectives that Mr. Donovan Thomas, or Nut, came to the gambling house and met with you, and you discussed your issues with Mr. Shelkel. I want you to listen to this. Specifically, you said, I was just like, darn, but it says another word, bruh, what happened? You know what I mean? What the H-E-L-L? I'm just like, the only thing I did was, you know what I mean? That N-Kel is, that was, cause I was just like, and then I just remembered like the stuff Nut used to be saying. You know what I mean? Like Nut pulled up at the gambling house and he tried to talk to me. You feel me? I let the window down. I cracked the window. He said, darn, it says another word, blood. I ain't blood, bruh. You know what I mean? But darn, says another word. You know what I mean? So I pull over. And when I pulled over in the car, him and Big Boo was talking. I mean, dapped him up. Boom, Shannon right there. Shannon walked right past, looked at me, and was like, you know what I mean? Detective said, uh-huh. You then said, and he was just like, man, what's up with you and Kel? Meaning Nut, or Mr. Thomas. Like, man, these ends, let him trip with y'all. I ain't got no problems with him. You know what I mean? So we was talking. when we got finished talking, he like, man, I'm a holler at the end. I'm a let y'all ends know what's up. You know what I mean? This and that. Detective said, that's what Nuts said. You said, yeah. So when me and Kel seen, Kel was like, well, he wanted to see what Thug got to say. So I called Kel on FaceTime with Kel, and Kel like, and I ain't let SHI go until you pay for my window. You know what I mean? Just listen to it and tell me if you agree with what was said.
I was like, damn, bro, you mean, what did you have? Man, I said, I don't think I did ever. I didn't have that shit. That nigga ain't the problem. Know what I mean? The nigga Cal is. That was so I was like, and then I can remember like the stuff Nut used to be saying. I mean, like Nut put up at the gamma house and he tried to talk to me. You feel me? I did one time. I cracked one. He like, damn, blood. I ain't blood, bro. Know what I mean? But damn. I mean, so I pulled over. When I pulled over, I got the car and they did boo talking. I mean, I got them up. Boom. Shannon right there. Shannon walked right past. Looked at him like, you know what I mean? And he was like, man, what's up with you and Kel? I mean, they him tripping, so I ain't got no problem with it. I mean, so we were talking, we got there and talking. Like, I'm how that thing, I'm gonna let y'all even know what's up. You know what I mean? This and that. That's what Nut said. Yeah. So when me and Kel seen Church Scamming, Kel like, well, he gonna see what Thug got to say. So I called Thug on FaceTime for Kel. And Kel like, he ain't that shit, go till he pay for my window. I mean, Kel.
What I said, was that fairly accurate, what you were saying with the detectives?
I never had no conversation with Nut outside the gambling house.
Exactly. Police never came to you in any way to say, hey, we corroborate that or support or verify that, right? That never happened.
I never had a conversation with him.
I want to talk with you about Jeffrey Williams number 240K, as in Kitten, States Exhibit number 378YE. Your Honor, it's at 9:56:01 to 9:56:27 a.m. It's June 10, 2015 meeting. Mr. Copeland, I want you to listen for, and then, correct me if I'm wrong, that you said to the detectives on June 10, 2015, so I went and got the car. I pull up at the green store. I ain't seen them out there. So I was talking to Little Rick. Me and Little Rick talking. I called D. D said he was on Cleveland. So Rick asked, like, where you just go? Because I was going to the girl's house. He like, all right, boom. I get in the car, I ride. I pull up at McDonald's. When I pull up at the McDonald's, detective says, you went to McDonald's? Bye-bye. You say, on Cleveland. Detective said, on Old Hapeville? You said, nah, the one across, and the detective then cuts into your statement. I want you to listen to it. We're talking about, obviously, where you were at around the time of Mr. Donovan Thomas getting shot, okay? Just to orient you.
So I got the car. I got pulled up at Green Store. I ain't about it. So I'm talking to Rick. Me and Rick talking. I called him. He said he's on TV. So Rick asked like, where you could go? You turn around. And I'm gonna go to the girl. He's like, all right. Boom. I get in the car. I ride to you. I pull up at the McDonald's. When I pull up at the McDonald's, to the McDonald's side, Cleveland, Wakefield, like the one right now. Yeah.
Did I say fairly what you said to the detectives? Did it sound correct?
That's what he said.
Yeah. Okay. Now, did you ever get word from the district attorney's office, the detectives, the ATF agents, anybody that Little Rick confirmed your statement to the police? That they spoke with Little Rick?
No.
Okay. Do you remember the McDonald's we're talking about on Cleveland Avenue? It's the one across the street from a coin-operated laundromat, and then across the street from a gas station, and next to an auto parts store. You know which one we're locking in on? I could show you a picture.
Yeah, you gotta show me a picture.
Okay.
Nah, I know what you're talking about, though.
Okay. In 2014, 2015, if you observe this, just tell me, if you remember and you observed it. Do you remember seeing surveillance cameras inside and outside that McDonald's?
That's not my neighborhood.
That's fine. That's good. Okay. All right. Now, you're aware by the time that all this happened, January, we'll just say January 2015, January 10, before Mr. Donovan Thomas's, God forbid, shot, you're aware that cell phones, cellular telephones, give a general description of the area the cell phone is in. Is that true?
Can you say it again?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. At and around or before Donovan Thomas's shooting, that's what I'm locking in on. Were you aware, did you know, that cellular telephones can tell a general vicinity of where the phone is? Do you know what I'm referring to?
You said, do I know about it?
Yeah. Did you know about it back then?
Yeah.
Okay. And in fact, you told the police on January 11th, 2015, within 7 hours, 8 hours of Mr. Donovan Thomas being, God forbid, shot, you brought a cell phone in the interrogation room with Detective Thorpe and said, my phone will tell you where the phone was. Remember doing that?
Right.
And that was you trying to tell the detective, don't look at me for the killing of Donovan Thomas. Fair to say? That's why you went there.
Right.
I'd like to play for you and just tell us, orient the ladies and gentlemen of the jury, if that's what you're talking about. This is, Your Honor, Jeffrey Williams, 241G. It's in Gold Federal States Exhibit number 378Y. A is in Elisa. Your Honor, this is the January 11th, 2015 interrogation or meeting with Detective Thorpe and Mr. Copeland. It's at 3:14:09 a.m. to 3:14:23 a.m. If you can listen to this, Mr. Copeland, just make sure that you tell the jurors correctly if this is what you're talking about.
I can't hear it.
And thank you for all the super chats, by the way. I'm just trying not to interrupt.
I killed it. Last thing I missed in my phone, I show you. I was asking everybody, like, should I go down there, bro? Because I didn't do it. They come scan me, they do everything. I didn't do it. They check my phone record, my vote column, they show you where I was, they show you every car that I talked first, they show you where I was now.
Is that you, Mr. Copeland? If you heard it, saying, you could check phone records, you can see where the phone was, where I was. Is that fair to say?
Huh?
Sorry. Were you talking about in the Jeffrey Williams Exhibit 241G, States Exhibit 378YA, from the times that I announced? Was that you showing the detective with your phone on the desk?
Trying to show him I'm innocent?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that phone, you see the phone that's in the Honorable Judge Whitaker's courtroom on display? That's the phone you brought in.
On the camera?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And did Detective Thorpe ever take your phone?
Shit, I don't know. I can't I don't think so.
Well, let's do it both ways.
I don't really remember how it was so fast. I don't really remember how it went.
Okay, well, let me ask you this, and if you don't remember, just say I don't remember. Did anyone on the district attorney's office or the police department ever show you the contents of your phone, that they looked into your phone? Did they ever come back to you and say, hey, we can tell where you are, or these are the text messages? Did they ever show you that?
Miss Hilty told me that, I think in Glanville office, that something about my phone showed me somewhere else. I can't. She said something to me about it, like during this trial. But I don't recall exactly how she said it.
Now, you had multiple phones, fair to say, on January 10th, 2015?
What you mean?
Multiple is a bad word. You had more than one phone on January. The day that Mr. Donovan Thomas was killed, you had more than one phone, right?
Everybody got more than one phone.
Okay. And including you, right?
Yeah.
In fact, you told the jury on August 12th of 2024 that you had more than one phone. And if you listen to this, just make sure that's what you're talking about, the night of Donovan Thomas's murder. JW 249, Your Honor, at 5:44:48 to 5:45:16 from the Fox 5 stream of this trial.
What am I listening to something?
I think he's having a little issue. I'm sorry.
You may. Do you need to have a restroom break anyway? Let's have a short recess while they get that queued up outside for a restroom break.
Interesting break if he's going to try to continue that line of questioning about cell phones. Give Woody some time to figure out what questions might be coming. Yeah, everyone's singing the Kevin Gates, the two phones. I used to have two phones. I don't anymore, but I feel like I should get a second phone number. I've had my main number for a very long time.
Thanks. All right, we'll take however long it takes the jury to get back, 10-ish minutes.
Okay, cool. So thank you so much for all the super chats. Sorry we've been quiet. We've been listening word for word all day. Ted earlier had said, where do I stand on the we or was audio from yesterday? I heard we at first. When I re-listened, I really think it's was, and you just don't hear that S sound pronounced clearly. However, if someone hears something different, that's fine. I always think it's just interesting food for thought, the way different people can perceive things differently with no intent to perceive something one way or the other. And that can have some major implications sometimes, but personally, I heard was. Same thing with the whole don't call. It sounded like don't call to me at first, but when I re-listened and re-listened and re-listened, I really think Love was saying don't got him, and it didn't pick up the they before. They were referring to police reports, and Atkins ran out of the room to call and double check. And Atkins was already out of earshot, and Love leaned in towards Hilton and started to say what people thought was don't call, and maybe that is what she said. But I think she was saying they don't got him, as in he's running to call them, but they don't have those reports. So, and every time we do a poll, it's like a 50-50 split on what people hear. So it's like the blue and gold dress, and I think there was like a sneaker picture. What color do you see? And half the people would say one, half would say the other. So there's just what I took away from listening. And then Brandon says when Steele slows down, it is a masterclass in cross, so cut the mic. Yeah, I think I read this earlier, but kind of thinking of the same thing, taking the pee break right now, the comfort break. right as he, in my opinion, was winding up to try to make a point about location, cell phone locations, not always being a perfect indicator of where a specific person, the owner of a phone, is at a given time. Thank you, Chris Hayes, for the super sticker. Angie Lee's doing the sprinkle gifting today. Thank you so much, Angie. And then Katie gifted 5 memberships. So shout out to Katie. This was a while ago already. I'm getting to these late because I've been totally blinded in on watching Steele do this cross-examination. And I'm loving it so far. I am loving it so far. It's also really nice to have dates and names laid out, especially when we're switching from one topic to another. I'm really appreciating that Steele is giving us, hey, we're going to talk about the June 10th, 2015 interview now. And this was who was present during this interview, and we get the names. And in this clip I'm going to play you, we're going to talk about Shell Kell or Kelvin Watts. Okay, so let's play that clip. And it's just very helpful to know exactly the context of what we're about to be paying attention to, the when, the who, the what, and even sometimes the why. He doesn't always tell us the why, depending on what his strategy is. But it's just much easier to digest what we're supposed to be looking for with the way he's doing this. And I appreciate that, just because I hate feeling confused and lost. And I felt like that a lot with the state playing these long videos that were hard to understand at times. So thank you so much again for the gifted memberships. Yet I had said this is what the state should have done, playing the statement one by one with the questions, and not the 40 hours straight of footage no one can follow along with or hear. What do you guys think? Are you guys having a easier time understanding what's happening in these clips with the context in and around it? Are there things that you're hearing in these clips that, we didn't pay attention to when we were watching hours at a time? Because I certainly think so. I totally agree, yeah, that. Peter Ortiz, thank you so much. I had said thank you in the chat, but thank you so, so much for gifting 20 memberships. This came in right as, I think, was it Jason Hodges or maybe Betsy that noticed we hit 20K co-conspirators, you guys. We now have 20K subscribers to this channel, which is crazy because YouTube just gave me a 1-year anniversary notification yesterday. So that is just really, really cool. And all throughout, you guys have been showing so much love in the chat. It's been a ton of fun. I appreciate you guys, and I love a moment in this trial. And we get to have a big party today. We get to celebrate a big milestone. So thank you so much. Super fun. And on lunch, guys, we'll figure out what we play during lunch today as our entertainment. It's like, I'm the teacher and we're rolling out the TV during the lunch break to have something to do to occupy our time. As soon as I start playing whatever we're gonna do a rewind on during the lunch break, I'm gonna go get a gift that YouTube sent me. I guess it was maybe for 15K. I'm not sure what the milestone actually was because they already sent it, but I'll show you. We'll unbox it together because I haven't opened it. So very exciting. Sheeny Beanie says, I know a clarifying question. Hates to see Woody coming. What you mean? Do you mean the state hates to see coming? And this is true. We haven't gotten all that many what you means from Woody today, but when he has, it's an opportunity for the attorney, no matter who's doing the questioning, to say something twice. And if the attorney takes that opportunity and uses it in the right way, it's a good way to reiterate something for the jurors. I know there's been times where I didn't really piece together the point of a question, but then something stuck out because I got to hear it twice. But yeah, I think Steele's doing some long-winded questions sometimes. But I am loving when he crams in the dates and the context. I just do. It's just me personally. I like to have all the details laid out, obviously, for me. Leah's dad says, note that Steele is making sure Woody agrees with what is being said on the tape instead of making a theory or leaving it to the jury like the state. Yeah, I mean, look at us in the chat when we were watching these hours of videos. We were like, huh? What did they say? Is that what I heard? No, I don't think it was that. I think it was something else. Or what's the point of this? Like, why is the state doing this? Does this help the state? This sounds like it helps the defense. Like, it just does not seem strategic for the state to have done all that. And not for nothing, but it also means that it expanded the scope of what these attorneys could come back and ask about. And playing it for that long, making attorneys sit there and listen to it, I really think Brian Steele was either sitting at home that one day he was gone, or sitting in the courtroom being forced to listen to these things again. Maybe he was paying attention to Kenneth Copeland's body language on the stand at certain moments. It could have been a good brainstorm moment for these defense attorneys to be able to watch Kenneth Copeland react to these long videos. If he's mostly tuned out, but he's suddenly engaged during a certain part, well, that's going to cue me in as a defense attorney. And we don't get to see too much of that watching on stream because it's giving us the video camera view, but I don't know. There was a moment earlier, and it's slipping my mind, where I really thought Steele had noticed. Oh, I know what it was. So yesterday, while Hilton was finishing up direct, she asked 2 different times Kenneth Copeland. We played these jail recordings to you out in the hall. We played these calls for you, right? And Copeland was like, "You only played the one. I never heard this other one before." And Hilton tried to clarify, and he said, "No, I still only heard the one. I didn't hear these other calls." And I don't know if seeing Copeland stand his ground in that way and push back against Hilton helped develop what Steele is doing today. Oh, the state never actually showed you this beforehand. And then the police, APD, the DAs, while they were getting this indictment together, they never asked you about these things previously either. So not only did they not question you and verify these things during their investigation, but even when they were prepping you as a witness, if they did much prep at all, they weren't properly prepping you. And this is a consistent thing that Max Shart typically is the one that brings up with other witnesses. You know, was this witness prepped? Doesn't seem like they were prepped. And I really wonder if seeing Kenneth Copeland push back against Hilton yesterday helped Brian Steele round out some of the questioning we're seeing today. It's been really, really interesting stuff to watch, and we've got a whole day of it, so more to come. Satchel says, so this is why Steele said it was going to be a long cross. Take the statements and show they didn't confirm anything. Exactly. And I get some of the lines of questioning probably seem like long, slow, wasteful, but I think the strategy to that, and you can disagree with me, is you do want to take certain precautions in the way you set up a line of questioning when you're working with a witness that could switch at any given moment. Might not be cooperative one moment versus the next. Just because they were cooperative a few questions ago doesn't mean they're going to be cooperative about the next topic, or maybe their mood changes. So I see what Steele's laying out. I also see the criticism in the chat and think it's fair. If you feel like if you were a witness on the stand and you wouldn't take well to how Steele is questioning you, that's valid too. That's important to consider. But yeah, personally, I think doing a great job at showing the state, oh, we're just going to run with it. We believe it at face value. And hilariously, Hilton tried to bolster this to the jury. She asked the question to Kenneth Copeland before the jury was on break for the week. It was 2 weeks ago. Are you aware that we verified everything? The police verified everything you told them? And like 3 defense attorneys objected and called for a mistrial. They had to send the jury out of the room because it's bolstering. Not only and now we're finding out that that's not even true. So you have Hilton trying to testify during her questions that all of her stuff that she's questioning Copeland about has been true and verified. Bolstering. But now we're finding out that they didn't even do the bare minimum to try to verify anything. With a key witness for key elements of the charged crimes and the major incident at the heart of this trial, the Donovan Thomas murder. Just wild. And I see a lot of discussion in the chat. I mean, what do you guys think? Do you think it's incompetence and just bad work, shoddy workmanship? Or do you think there's maybe bad intent behind it? Because the outcome can be the same, right? Bad work, bad case, shoddy case. but is it nefarious? Something nefarious is going on? Or is it just, sorry, we suck at this? And then Anthony Bennett, good to see you, says Steele is glorious to watch. Tells jury and Woody what, why to listen, and explains and dissects the state's poor argument and makes their case weak. The power suit, gray hair, and talent make him so attractive. And I do think these attorneys, man, they come in dressed really sharp. And I think, what do you guys think about the way Steele is censoring? And hold on, I'm going to pull this down because I feel like I'm not visible. But going off of what Anthony Benny is talking about the presentation, the way that Steele is censoring words. I see you guys doing the HE double hockey sticks for HELL in the chat. You know, one joke in my head is like, oh, he's making it safe for us YouTubers. Shout out to Steele. But on the other hand, maybe that's just his personality, right? Maybe that's how he always is. On the third hand, we have a third hand now. I think doing that in front of the jury, whether genuinely deserved or not, being careful about the words you say could help the jurors perceive you as having more integrity. Maybe having a higher standard of manners, maybe of ethics. You're trying not to use insulting slur words. You're trying not to curse in a courtroom. You respect the tribunal. Approaching reading back lines like this, not only might it help people focus on the actual substance without the filler words involved, but it could also make the jury perceive Steele as having better integrity. Why would he represent a vicious gang leader if he's afraid to say the word hell? So on one hand, it could just be his personality, and whether it is or isn't, I think his presentation, such a careful approach to curse words, can help the perception of a criminal defense attorney, and through the defense attorney, a better perception of the client. So just some food for thought there. And then Anthony C, I'm getting tripped up here with the Anthony and then Anthony. Congratulations. Thank you so much. From I'm That Queen. Appreciate you both. Appreciate both of you guys. Love to see you guys in the chat. Mocha is Me says, today is one for the books. Love Steele's Cross. Yeah, you're going to do a rant later? Well, not a rant. It might not be such a rant today, but a talk. We'll call it a discussion. Let me know. I have loved your driving rants. If you want to ever listen to someone do a nice YSL rant and bant, check out Mocha. I've thoroughly enjoyed your driving streams. And then Yedat says, yeah, 20K co-conspirators, you guys. This is the KNW Rico gang chat. Let me call Brian Steele. Yeah, hopefully he'd represent us. We could be like, we see you using links to YouTube videos in your case filings. If you have to represent us in a RICO, you'll be able to use so many YouTube links in your motions. Please represent us. Thank you so much, Violet, for becoming a member. And Anthony C for becoming a member. And SD, so this is pesky because of Apple, I think. I think you're probably using an Apple device. SD says, I want to send gifts to the amazing people in the chat. So shout out to the chat, but I can't figure it out. Please explain. I'm not exactly sure the process of gifting memberships if you use an Apple device and do not see the little $ symbol next to the chat. Because really, it would be, I don't know if Long Crime has monetization turned on. I don't think they do. Oh, that was Fox. Let me switch to Long Crime and I think I can show you there. Nope. No, that's Sylvia. Let me find a channel that has monetization turned on. So this is, oh my God, did none of these channels have, there's usually a dollar symbol right here. And you'd click and you'd be able to become a member. Same thing, there's going to be an icon here, even if you're using mobile. But if you're using an Apple device, you have to go to a web browser and then go to YouTube, and then you'll be able to see it because it doesn't show up on the Apple app. I have no idea why. Absolutely no idea why. You know, I would think that if I was I guess Google doesn't want to play nicely with Apple products, but still, there's such a wide audience base using Apple. Why wouldn't you make it easy for people to use that feature? But don't ask me. But thank you so much for thinking about everybody in the chat. That's really sweet. Black Butterfly says, when Brian kicks that leg, yeah, guys, watch his legs when Brian's still standing at that podium. When Brian kicks that leg, he's getting ready to land. I call it the kickstand move. That is hilarious. Recuse Judge Glanville, thanks so much. Steele is so disorganized, wasting our time showing precise short clips just to prove his point. Just play the entire 18 hours like the state did. Your comments are always on point. Always on point. I love to see them. And then Lottie B says, can we watch the beginning of Break again? Check out Love's body language. Oh, okay, wait. So you mean like while they were standing up waiting for the jury to leave? This has been a long break. Has it really been 20 minutes of me rambling? Okay, this is where they're about to, like right here. All right, so we're gonna look at Love.
Let's have a short recess while they get that queued up. It's about time for a restroom break.
He always asks to step out. Whisper, whisper, whisper. Yeah, she does look like she's trying to yell quietly, like when a mom tries to not yell out loud at their child in public, and they're just like... And is this one of the IT guys in the striped shirt here? Maybe that's why the recess is taking longer.
Yeah, thanks. All right, we'll take however long it takes the jury to get back, 10-ish minutes.
She just grabbed her elbow so, like, she's like... Wow, great point. I'm gonna refresh it to get back in real time. There we go, so we're in real time. I'm gonna have to move the captions up. Thank you guys in the chat for when I don't move the captions. You guys always remind me, so I appreciate that. But that was crazy. What do you think of that body language? Yeah, like... Yeah, she's pissed. Love's arm was shaking. Grabbing her. Let her go. She's panicking. Don't touch me. Whew. Assault on Miss Hilton. Crazy. Yeah, I got the same vibe, like trying to quietly scold a child, but not to be heard yelling at your child in public. Crazy. Wow, what a great thing to go back and look at. Ah, dang, I didn't watch Brian. Okay, they're still going. Should we watch Brian's language? Was he standing there watching them? I have it open in another browser too, so as soon as court comes back, I'll hear it. Oh my gosh. Yeah, Doug be looking around at the body language.
Yeah, thanks. All right, we'll take however long it takes the jury to get back, 10-ish minutes.
Hostile work environment. Yeah, like it's like how dudes argue with their girl at parties, like low key, trying not to be seen visibly being the one getting angry at somebody, like just being sneaky or low about it. Yeah, like did she pinch her? Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry, I have a hard time with the chat sometimes. It moves really fast. Um, but thank you for giving the chat the explanation. But why it is that iPhone, let me see if I see your orange and do do do. Okay, cool. And just so you know, you guys, when you tag KatNotWilliams on StreamYard, it doesn't actually highlight in the comments for me. If I'm on YouTube and I'm in the chat on YouTube and you tag me, I can see like the orange highlight. But StreamYard doesn't ping me that somebody has tagged me. The reason why iPhone can't get membership is because Apple wants 30% cut on everything on iPhone. Okay, and YouTube probably was like, nope, nope. Okay, that explains it. Thank you so much for not just letting us know, but also making sure it was known. No, it doesn't. You know, I've thought about doing like a stupid, like 3-minute video explaining weird oddities of streaming that, like, you know, maybe I didn't know until I started streaming myself. I just expected things worked a certain way. But yeah, we don't get pings or highlights with our name being tagged on the StreamYard interface. Um, we also, you know, I entrust that the mods do a great job. I see them doing a great job. I see you guys giving them so much appreciation. But technically on StreamYard, I can't see what moderator activities they're taking to make sure that the chat, like if someone's spamming, if I were to try to open up YouTube, it doesn't look like the spam chats are gone on my StreamYard. But if I were to open up YouTube to double check, I always see the mods have already taken care of it. So it's really a nice relief to be able to trust trust the mods here and know that they're doing a great job and keeping you guys entertained and able to have a productive conversation. But there's certain things that we can't tell on StreamYard what's going on in the chat. Same thing, I can't always see super stickers, only some of them show. And certain emojis. And I think you guys can see when I pull up on screen. If I put a comment on the screen, sometimes like this laugh emoji on the screen right now is visible, but there's other ones that only they're like the colon and then the name for the emoji. It doesn't actually show me the emoji on this end unless I go to YouTube. So just some weird, funky stuff. Thank you, Esquire here. Trial strategy is one of the elements of practice I fell in love with once I got it down, especially cross. Steele is a craftsman. Well done, sir. Salutations, chats, and mods. And look at all the popcorn we're getting. Thank you, Esquire. And one of my favorite TV shows, which I know is fiction, is the show Bull, because they really focus more on the trial strategy aspect of it. And I always thought that was so cool to watch. And I know they had some actual legal experts consult with the writing on that show, so some of it is obviously very valid. But it just gave me so much food for thought watching that show. I love, love, love the trial strategy aspect. Even though I don't practice, I'm not a lawyer. But thank you so much. China Eye says, congrats. Kat, and this is the moment I've been waiting for, that cell phone situation. Lord, I'm excited. Yeah, we've heard a lot of concerns about Agent Bernie, who is supposed to come testify, I think is one of the next 10 witnesses, cell location data. So it's a bigger deal than just Kenneth Copeland's testimony in and of itself. So Steele, whatever he's trying to lay out with cell phone data is going to be important for future witnesses as well. So it's really, I mean, Steele seems calm and collected, but maybe in his head, he's probably like, I gotta nail this part. So that's going to be interesting to see when they come back. Just double checking we're in real time here. We are. So thank you so much, China Eyes. Always good to see you. Del Piero says, thanks for the show money, Mike. Thank you. Satchel says, looking forward, Steele will recall the investigators and ask them how statements were confirmed. Lots of squirming. Great point, because remember, he wants to also have the right to call Detective Gaither back during his own case in chief. So this is interesting, because now everything he's laying out And we've suspected it. Like, they have no reports. They didn't really follow up on anything. They just took this guy, Kenneth Copeland, at his word. Even though he was telling them he just would do anything to get out of here. So now we bring these same detectives back, who the state brought before Kenneth Copeland. If you get these same detectives back and you underscore this thing now, if the jury took anything positive that the state may have established through those witnesses, the defense can now completely dismantle it if they do it right. And that might be another good one, guys. If you're going to tune out of this trial a little bit when Kenneth Copeland is off the stand, if you hear that Detective Gaither's coming back, I would tune in for that. I would absolutely tune in for that. And then Phil says they need to object on record before the jury returns to prosecution being so animated, especially Miss Love with her antics 6 feet from the jury. Yeah, and I think there's some times where Kenneth Copeland's looking over at the state's table, and I wonder if that's just because he is seeing Love do something like this with her head, and when your eye catches movement, you're disinclined to look. Either that or he's looking for them maybe to object on certain questions, so he might not have to answer, but I don't know, some witnesses look to the attorneys that called them as their witness to, like, protect them when they don't want to answer something. But I don't know if Kenneth Copeland would look at that table in that direction expecting any backup from them. And Cash Money Cass, you need that track jacket. Too cashy. If you're still in the chat. Oh, man. All right, and I don't want to interrupt. Thank you so much, I'm That Queen, for becoming a member. I thought you were a member. Use those emojis. JC, thanks for gifting a membership, helping someone become a member.
Yeah, my team.
What'd you do? All right, for the jury.
And G-Lander, you might be in the minority here. So the chat is getting confused with the way Brian Steele is using the phrase God forbid. But G-Lander says, every time Steele refers to Donovan Thomas's murder or shooting, he respectfully says God forbid. And I get what you're getting at, G-Lander. Respect for the victims. You're not just trying to... That guy sucked, who cares if he's done, right? Which will probably look bad to jurors.
Thank you. All right, go ahead, Mr. Steele.
Thank you so much, G-Lander.
Your Honor, I'd like to play Jeffrey Williams or JW 249. It's at 54448 to 54516 from Fox 5 stream of this trial.
Did you provide us your phone number so we can get your phone records, Mr. Copeland?
Which phone?
The phone you had in 2015, did you give police your phone number so we can get your phone records?
I don't recall. Now you're talking about.
Did you give police your phone number in any of these interviews so that we can get your phone records?
Which phone?
Your phone that you had back in 2015.
I had more than one phone.
Is that audible? Mr. Copeland, that's you testifying before this jury, August 12, 2024, where you explained that you had multiple phones on January 10, 2015. Does that sound right?
That's what it said.
Did the district attorney's office, did the federal authorities, did homicide detective Thorpe, Detective Dennis, Detective Gaither, anybody, Agent Cunningham, anybody in law enforcement, did they ever seek to get a warrant, a search warrant for your other phone or phones?
Speculation. Sustained.
Did you ever get served with a search warrant, a warrant, or even asked to give the police your other phones or the district attorney's office?
No.
Strategic
I'm going
silence.
to show you and play for you, with the court's permission, Jeffrey Williams or JW 244D. as in David, States Exhibit number 378, YB as in Barry. Your Honor, that's the January 28, 2015 meeting or interrogation. It's at 7:12:03 p.m. to 7:12:43 p.m. And this discusses, Mr. Copeland, just make sure I'm right, that you and your brother made a false report of who's driving a vehicle because you had a suspended license. If you can listen to that, make sure that's what that's about.
So I got back in the car, we rolled. Got up on Lakewood, got back on the freeway, went to the house, told my brother, hey, you need to try to kill me.
Why you had your brother file a police report?
Cause I ain't got a license. You still a victim though, like, if you lock me up.
Bro, if you ain't in the car, listen, if you ain't driving the car when we get there, we're not gonna waste our time on lock you up for driving with because now you didn't kind of, now you didn't kind of sway the investigation because y'all made a false police report. Now I ain't trying to lock y'all up for that shit, but if we get some evidence or get a gun or something to match shell casings or whatever like that, it's kind of like you threw the investigation off by having your brother take the report. You know what I'm saying? Like at that.
Is that pretty much what it discusses, Mr. Copeland?
Huh?
Is that what it discusses? What you're discussing with the detectives, you had your brother file a report, a false police report. Is that what it's discussing?
Right.
Okay. And you understood on January 10, 2015, that the cell phone that you told the police about would show an approximate location, right?
Huh?
The cell phone that you had on that desk in front of Detective Thorpe that you told the police about, that would show an approximate location of where the cell phone was, right?
I don't know. I don't get what you're saying.
Okay, it's me. I apologize. When you were with Detective Thorpe on January 11th, 2015, about 7-8 hours after Mr. Thomas was shot, okay? And you brought with that phone, you brought that phone with you? If that phone was with somebody else and not you, at the time Donovan Thomas's shooting, the police didn't have all your phones, right? Well, you didn't give, I'll correct.
Common
Just
sense.
rephrase it. It was kind of
Sure.
confusing.
You didn't give the police all your cell phones that you had with you or access to on January 10th, 2015, but you did show one phone. True?
He didn't. I don't even think he wanted my phone.
All right.
Good enough answer.
Now, did the police ever come to you? When I say police, I'm including everybody, or the district attorney's office, come to you and inquire of you, ask you, your phone shows no calls between 7:01 at night and 7:23 or 24 at night on the night Donovan Thomas is shot. Did they ever ask you to explain or why there are no calls during that time? Did they ever discuss that with you?
They don't tell me nothing.
Okay. All right. I'd like to go to the next recording. And this is Jeffrey Williams 24 or JW 240L, as in laughter, States Exhibit number 378YE, as in Aaron. Your Honor, this is June 10th, 2015. And Mr. Copeland, June 10th, 2015 interrogation meeting. It's at 9:55:46 a.m. to 9:56:01 a.m. And it is you, I believe, and you make sure, saying that you called Jeffrey Williams from the green store. And it's something like this. You said, all right, so I walk up on my brother's house. Hey, bruh, let me see your car real quick. He gives me the car. Boom. I get in the car. I pull up at the green store. When I got to the green store, this is what I did. I called Thug. I ain't called D right then and there. Detective says, and you say, I called Thug. He ain't answer. I'd like you to listen, make sure that that's correct, okay?
All right. So I'm at my brother's house. car right quick. Give me the car. I get the car, pull up at the green store. When I got to the green store, nah, they were like, I called through. I ain't called you right there. I called through. He ain't answer.
Mr. Copeland, did the police or the district attorney's office ever come to you and ask you on your phone records whether it supported or did not support that you called Jeffrey Williams from around the Green Store on or around the time Donovan Thomas was shot?
I don't know what you, I don't, ask me again.
Yes, sir. Did the police or the district attorney's office ever come to you and ask you to explain your cell records, your cell phone records, and ask you about this comment that you called Jeffrey from around the Green Store at around the time of Donovan Thomas's killing? Did they ever do that with you?
Can you ask me short so I can catch it? It's too long for me.
No, it's my bad. It's my fault. I apologize.
Pause.
Did the police ever share with you, or the district attorney's office go over with you your cell phone records that they may have? Did they ever do that?
No.
Going back to 2014, going into 2015, you met Jeffrey Williams for a short period of time that you were, my word would be hanging out with him, but that's a bad word, that you were in his company and he was in your company, a short period of time. Is that fair to say?
Right.
And when you met him, you already said that he was very popular.
Yes.
True. And is it true that that you observed he was trying to help people like you, but other people too, to get jobs, like legitimate jobs?
What you mean?
Recording studios.
No, I'm saying I don't get what you're asking me.
Okay, let me ask you a different way. So forget about what I said. When you met Jeffrey, did you witness him trying to get people to have a legitimate job? A legitimate just means a job at a recording studio, make music, trying to help people.
All the money on
I
the
can't
arms.
speak for other people, but he tried to help me.
And when you knew him for the period of time, we're really talking about like between your birthdays. Do you know Jeffrey Williams' birthday by any chance? And if you don't, that's fine.
Well, now I do, but
You didn't back then? Okay.
I didn't. Yeah.
Is it fair to say that you and he knew each other, but like after your birthday in July of 2014 and really stopped because you were in custody anyway, by July 2015? That's the period of time that you knew each other? Is that true?
No, I didn't. From 2014, I met him like adios.
Yeah, you went originally with a gentleman I know as Mr. Trontavious Stevens. Do you know that name?
Yes.
Is that also Slug and Tick?
I
Same
know.
person?
I called him Tick. Yeah.
Okay. And that's how you first were introduced to be around Jeffrey Williams, true?
I think so.
And then you would see him, he'd allow you, and when I say allow you, I mean, it was okay. It allowed a lot of people to go to his shows, right?
I think Tick invited me out.
Okay. And that was really your relationship with, and he would take pictures with you if you wanted to, and he wanted to, true?
Yeah, I asked.
Yeah, and you put that on social media. You were promoting Jeffrey, and you liked that.
He give me, yeah.
And it gave you a little bit of maybe
No, a lot.
fame. Okay. Gave you a lot of fame. True?
Yeah.
And you were trying to launch your own career as a musical artist at that time, true?
I was trying to find myself.
Okay. Later, though, you did try to, and you did launch your career as a musical artist, right?
Well, I going back to jail, they started locking me back up.
You were trying to do that, though. You were trying to do
I tried it.
Yes. You had a manager.
Huh?
You had a manager.
Yes, I had a lot of stuff.
Yeah. They were controlling your social media feeds, etc.
Yes.
True. Okay. You put out music videos. True.
Well, my manager and them did.
Sure, but you were featured. You were starred.
Right,
It was your music.
right.
Okay. Jeffrey never had the pleasure of having you featured in one of his songs. Is that true?
Ooh.
No, I ain't never been in his song.
Okay. And Jeffrey never was featured in one of your songs. Is that true?
No, me and him don't have music together.
All right. But he did put you in one song of his. You know the song Halftime?
I'm listening.
Do you remember the line, and I'm not saying this a quote, but something effective, if you mess with me, Woody will come up and pop in the noggin. And if that's not a quote, I'm not trying to misquote it, but that's what is that something like what it says in that song?
Yeah,
And the song is Halftime, right?
yes,
Wildly popular song.
yes.
And the police, when that song was released, the police seized on that to use it against you, basically. You knew that, right?
Sustained.
From your vantage point, and what that means is you learned that the police was using that song. They asked you about that song.
No, they told me.
Yeah.
One of them told me that I think I had got out shit. I got out one of the jails and they got me the next day. And they were like, yeah, man, now you at the top of our radar. It was something like, and he pissed me off when he said it.
He being the detective.
No, it wasn't no detective, it was the police.
Okay. The police officer upset you when they
I
said
think it was Dennis that said it. It was one of them that said it to me.
Okay. Now, that's the only time you're mentioned in one of Jeffrey's songs. Is that true?
What you mean?
There's not another song that Jeffrey, to your knowledge, mentions you.
That's
Okay. And Halftime, you know this, was made in 2000. It wasn't released till 2015, but it was made in 2014. Is that true?
yes.
Okay.
It's an old song.
And there's no truth to that lyric that you would pop somebody in the noggin for Jeffrey. Am I right?
I would never.
There you
I
go,
want to go
Steele.
back to what we talked about earlier, that Jeffrey was in fact this is, by the way, Your Honor, this is JW Jeffrey Williams 241B, as in Barry States Exhibit 378Y, A as in Elisa. It's at 3:16:50 a.m. to 3:16:56 a.m. And this is January 28th, 2015 meeting or interview or interrogation with the police. Okay, Mr. Copeland, I'd like you to listen to this about things were good with Jeffrey. If you could just listen to this.
Defense counsel said January 20th. I think this is the January 11th interview.
You are, and thank you very much. I apologize, Your Honor. It's Mr. Copeland's January 11th, 2015 with Detective Thorpe. Same time.
I was cool with him at first. When George goes up, George started letting me hang and put me out in his songs and videos.
You were telling Detective Thorpe that Jeffrey was cool with
Oops.
Mr. Thomas, right?
I guess.
And that's the truth, though, right?
I don't know. I'm saying I can't hear what I said in the video.
Okay, how about this? From your observations, Jeffrey was on good terms with Donovan Thomas.
I don't think I ever seen them two. I can't remember being around both of them
Ever?
at one time.
You never saw them dap each other up?
I'm saying I don't think I've been around with. I don't think I've been around like if I never seen them. I don't think I've been around with both of them in the same place. If that makes sense.
Yeah, of course. Okay.
I don't remember. I can't remember seeing both of them in the same place.
I want to talk with you about what you told the detectives. It's June 10, 2015. And this is when you're telling the detectives you're at the McDonald's and D gets into your car. I want to talk to you about this. This is JW or Jeffrey Williams 240M as in magic, states exhibit number 378, YE as in Aaron, 2:45 p.m. to 2:46 p.m. And you say to the police, SHI blank, I just heard D got in the car and he was like, they just killed him. Or he like, yeah. He like, boy, they killed Nut. Detective Thorpe said, who he say killed Nut? You said, I'm telling you. Like my heart started pounding. Like who? He was like, them. And then Nard got in the car. He shut up talking. So we get riding. I'm like, where the HELL, we going? But he told me that I was already trying to get the HELL away from them. So Moonton FaceTimed me. He like, boy, you know, old boy just got shot, right? They saying, boy, he just might not make it. I'm like, who? He like, Nut. I'm like, huh? Man, he trying. He like, SHI, boy, you know, they could scream. You know, they could scream out a name, right? Man, boy, I ain't got nothing to do with it. So SHI, I'm like, man, my head started hurting instantly. I got off the phone with him. So we following behind them, we dropped. That's when we dropped them at Thug's house. They was in the car, in the first car. So when we pulled up, I want you to listen to this and tell me if that's what we're talking about. Excuse me.
So I just heard D got in the place like they killed him. Yeah, you like, boy, they killed Nut. When you say killed Nut, I'm gonna tell you, I'm like, my heart started pounding like who? He like, damn. And then Nut got in the car, he shut up top. So we get blind. I'm like, where they was going? But when he told me that, I was already trying to get a head away from them. So I moved to a FaceTime, he like, but you know, old boy, they got shot, right? He's saying, boy, his head might not make it. I'm like, who? He like, Nut. I'm like, him. Man, he like, shit, well, you know they could scream, out of name, right? And, well, I ain't got nothing to do with it. So shit, I'm like, man, my head started hurting, I got off on him. So we fight behind him, we drop him. Then we pull up his own thug.
Mr. Copeland, did the district attorney's office or anybody in law enforcement, an agent with the FBI who's a cell phone expert or any of the police, did they ever go over with you where your cell phone that you told them about was traveling from the McDonald's area towards Jeffrey's home on January 10th, 2015? Did they ever ask you about that to explain it?
No.
Now, when you were trying to, or you put out some of your music, I want to talk to you about that if I can, okay? Now, do you remember putting out a song and a music video entitled Homicide?
Yeah.
And Jeffrey had nothing to do with that song or music video. Is that true?
I started doing music with somebody else.
And one of the people that you started to do music with, and he's shown in your video to Homicide, is the gentleman named Mr. Turner, or you referred to him as Threat. Is that true?
Yeah.
And in the music video Homicide that you put out, would you recognize that music video if it was shown to you?
It's my video?
Yeah, of course.
It's mine.
Okay. I'd like to show you, and Your Honor, move into evidence, Jeffrey Williams, number 243B, as in Barry, and it's a music video by Mr. Copeland. And I want to ask you a couple of questions about that, okay, Mr. Copeland?
So the state never
I'd like to show
introduced
it
this.
first and then ask you some questions, okay?
All right.
First, I think he needs to show it to the witness. And to,
I think there's a proper foundation.
Tiny
Okay.
little clip and see if he recognizes
He says, I don't recall,
Mr.
and they
Kokomo,
say
of
can't
course,
come in.
permission's approaching.
it.
Thank you. Mr. Copeland, just do me a favor. When Mr. Kokomo comes to you, just watch this for as long as you need.
Just to see whether you recognize it as the music video that is Homicide.
And wait, you have to show it to the state first. They have it, but just show it.
Is this all on the
4 minutes.
drive or whatever that you provided already?
Yes.
So then they've,
And Your Honor, I misspoke. It's JW243C, as in Colette, is not B.
okay.
Yeah, in my video.
And Mr. Copeland, I heard what you said. I'm going to repeat it. If it's not what you said, just correct me.
Yeah, that's my video.
That is, you recognize it as your video.
Yeah, I shot that video.
Okay. Your Honor, I move into evidence. I'd like to play Jeffrey Williams 243C, as in Colette.
relevant, Your Honor.
What's the relevance?
I believe that there is an indication of an image of that appears to be like Mr. Donovan Thomas, and Threat is in the video as well as Mr. Copeland.
All right, can we just maybe zoom to those
Sure.
parts and do those little parts instead of the entirety of it?
Yeah.
Unless the entirety of it's relevant.
No.
Okay,
We can
thank you.
absolutely do it. I move for the admission of everything, but for purposes of
Sure.
expedition.
All right,
Okay.
it's admitted.
And I would just need Mr. Kokomo, Your Honor, to announce.
I
what
don't know if this will
time he's
strike
playing,
me.
if that's okay. Or you could tell.
Now, just so you know, if it sounds like real commercially mixed, I might like pause and chop it up to avoid them claiming it, because if they claim it, I have to clip it out and it will destroy the live chat replay. There won't be a chat replay if I have to do that. It won't destroy the video or anything, but
Oh,
we'll see. So sorry in advance if I...
Your Honor, Mr. Kokomo said starting.
And yeah,
at
maybe
41
it'll
seconds.
give
May I
us
just
the
look and see
lyrics,
what he's playing?
so we can mute
Sure.
it. Yeah, but if it's on like SoundCloud or any like distro, it could still ping. That noise is him eating the... Yeah, Sheila, I think we die in the chat a little time. We hear when we hear Bumpkus. And he like pauses and says it and then says it like Miss Bumpkus. And thank you so much, Violet, for the super sticker, by the way. This is so long ago, but it's hard to find space in this stream. They're not taking recesses, and except for this, every time they've queued something up, they played it right away. They've been very efficient today, minus the IT issues. And Big Tit is becoming our resident lip reader. They look like they just giggled, though, over here. Had a happy, chummy moment after they made an objection. But that was so interesting. Thanks again, sweetie. Right before the break, the body language and disrespect from Love to Hilton.
34 through 4050 first, and then it's going to be stopped, and then 356:02 to the end.
Okay. Go ahead.
Well, matter of fact, he calling right now.
So
Say
there's
twin.
lots of money.
You got
Tay.
that fuck nigga y'all been looking for.
Donovan Thomas was kind of heavy set.
We at the spot. Alright.
I'm going to pause it a little bit just to give us some buffer. I think it's important to hear the lyrics. So if I have to cut this clip out and you guys hear me talking about it and you don't see the video played, I clipped it out if you're watching this on replay. But what do you think? Do you think that the guy with the shirt over his head is supposed to represent Donovan Thomas? Nut?
They on the way now, little bro.
And if you can go back, Mr. Kokomo, for the jurors, Mr. Copeland, I'd just like to explain some things. The person right there in the black, in the black shirt with the red-looking bow tie and the red vest on the cell phone, you see that person? Can you tell the jurors who that is?
Threat.
And I heard you, but your hands are over your mouth. Do you mind just
I
telling?
said that threat.
Okay. And then if you go back a little bit, Mr. Kokomo, and Mr. Kokomo, what time is that we just announced? 53:58, Your Honor, is what we were just talking about. And if you just go back a little bit more. Keep going back just a little bit more. Right up, go just ahead right there. And Mr. Copeland at 4094, is it fair to say that's you?
Yeah.
Okay. I'd like to go to 56:02. That's wrong. 3 minutes, 56 seconds, 02 to the end.
So this is who I think is supposed to, well, who Steele is going to say is supposed to represent Donovan Thomas. And now they're putting money on his head, and it's making me think of the whole story where he had taken money, said he politely gave it back without issue. But what's the symbolism of putting money on somebody's head? And then handing him more money right after. And then YouTube gonna hate this.
Mr. Copeland, do you remember telling District Attorney Hilton before June 7, 2024, that's the first time the jurors ever saw you come into the courtroom? Judge Glanville was the judge at that time, and you invoked the Fifth Amendment. That's the day I'm talking about. So before that day, okay? Am I losing you? Because I'm not trying to. I lost you?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're finished with the exhibit. Can you take it down?
Yeah.
Before, I'm sorry.
You finished with it?
For now, I'm going to go
Okay.
back to it. Before the first time the jurors saw you testify on a Friday, June 7, 2024, before that, do you remember telling District Attorney Hilton that you made a video admitting to killing Donovan Thomas? Do you remember saying that?
Huh?
Do you remember saying on social media or otherwise that you made a video or a statement that you admitted to killing Donovan Thomas. Do you remember saying that?
Objection, mischaracterization of evidence. Not even evidence.
So he told you
mischaracterization.
something.
I don't know how to rule on that.
Okay.
I mean, I don't have anything in front of me.
That's
but-
fine. Let me get the, can I have 1
So
second?
hold
Yeah,
on.
it's not
That
an
objection from the
evidentiary
state
objection, by the way.
Sounds like Hilton was told about this, but they didn't ask or inquire or introduce this video to the jury as part of their own case, which, whatever you feel about free expression, artistic expression in the chat, cool. But keep in mind that the state is trying to remove the concept of freedom of expression when they want to introduce certain lyrics or videos or imagery.
Another question.
But they
On
selectively
what we
leave
just
this
saw
homicide
on
video
Jeffrey
out.
Williams 243C, that man who had money on his head and then was shot in the video. Remember that on the homicide video? Did that have anything in your mind to do with Donovan Thomas?
I don't get what you're asking me.
Did you, when you did that video, did that have anything in your mind to do with the killing of Donovan Thomas?
No.
Okay. It's just a video, a music video?
Yeah, just a video.
Now, when part of your what you try to give out to the public is that you are a real gangster. Is that true?
Huh?
Do you remember giving an interview on the porch interview? Do you remember that?
Out the porch?
Off the porch, yes, sir. Do you remember doing that interview?
I remember doing it, but I don't remember what I said.
Okay. Do you remember saying that you are a real gangster, but other people are just musicians? They're just play gangsters. Do you remember saying something like that?
You got to show me.
All right. Mr. Kokomo, this is Your Honor, Jeffrey Williams, 246. It's April 29, 2020, off the porch interview with Mr. Copeland. And the relevant times are going to be 5 minutes, 4 seconds, 5 minutes, 12 seconds, 8 minutes, 59 seconds to 9 minutes, 7 seconds.
I remember. I said, I don't know what he's talking about.
Sorry, Mr. Copeland. Do you remember that video, excuse me, the off the porch interview?
I remember, but I don't remember what was said.
Okay. Was that you in that video that was shown to you?
In that picture he showed me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you need to hear what was said? Did Mr. Kokomo play that for you?
No, he just showed me a picture and walked off.
Mr. Kokomo, would you just show Mr. Copeland the relevant portions, 504, and you can listen to any of it, 504 and 512 and 859 to 907. Mr. Copeland, just listen to this yourself, please. They have it. The statements.
This is a bit crazy, you guys. And I'm all for, you guys hear me say all the time, freedom of expression in art. But when there's specificity, then I think there could be an argument to bring it in. But this is kind of the state getting a taste of their own medicine. They didn't want to introduce this video. And I think it's problematic, not so much this video, which is available online publicly, but if Woody said something to Hilton about the context of this video that could exculpate the defendants, any of the defendants, and they did not disclose those statements to Brian Steele.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or
Now
any
I move
defense.
for the admission of Jeffrey Williams 246 specifically, and I don't care if the whole interview's in, but specifically the times I announced, Your Honor.
Your Honor, we're objecting based on improper character, and we can approach for some other matters, Your Honor.
All right. Instead of approaching, because I haven't seen this before, so I'm gonna need to see it as well. I'm gonna excuse y'all to the jury room.
Maybe they'll start
Ask
lunch,
about
but
them.
they'll do some work.
Yes, for now, but stay
Be right there.
close. And yeah, I may end up just sending you to lunch, but not yet. If I'm gonna do that, I'll send word. Okay, so just step to the jury room for now.
I think she should just send to lunch. It's like 12 minutes to their normal time, but who knows? This is interesting stuff, you guys. This is interesting. There has not been a dull moment of this day so far, at least to me. I mean, that's my own opinion. Like, this is crazy. Body language, they're looking down right now. Yeah, Miss AB, this is how I feel. I feel like caught red-handed, checkmate. And not even so much just Woody, but possibly it could have, the culprit, the main culprit, could have been Tay or Threat, right? So this might not be caught red-handed for Woody, but if Woody tried to tell Hilton, look, we made this video about the killing of this guy, and Hilton didn't tell that to Steele.
All right, I know there was an improper character objection. Whose character?
Donovan Thomas, probably.
At this point, it seems like Mr. Steele is implying for the witness about him being a gangster. It sounds like he's going down a line of a some other dude did it defense, especially speaking
Threat.
about Threat and the homicide video, and then this video, this on the porch video of Mr. Copeland speaking about being a gangster. We think that this is more prejudicial than probative, substantially more prejudicial than probative. And so those are the basis for our objections.
And so whose character are you alleging it's
Prejudicial to who?
improperly impugning?
Mr. Copeland.
Okay, let me see what you're planning to play.
Sucks when you've already introduced a bunch of lyrics and videos, State.
So at the end of the day, I got a story to tell.
Yeah.
You want to listen to it? Or you keep listening to these niggas that ain't did nothing gangster, nothing tougher than they life. So.
All right. It sounds like he's contrasting himself to people that haven't done anything gangster in their life, which the implication there is that he himself is what? Has what? Absolutely.
To hear so many people like it just build my confidence. I mean, because I had a pride thing, like, I don't want to be labeled as nothing but a gangster. So if you look at me anything other than that, you got a problem. I'm going to slap the shit out of you. But whenever.
I overrule those objections.
We'll do a vent session anyway, but
Very short.
good job, Judge.
Okay, and I'm gonna have the jury back. Ms. Persfield, apparently.
So this
one
will be
of
what
the
they end on before
jurors,
lunch.
She was not hospitalized, but she had to visit the hospital last night. And she has indicated through an email that she may need an early break today. Her doctor's excuse had cleared her for going back to work as of tomorrow, but she didn't want to throw us all off in the morning, so she came today, but we may have to break early, and Ms. Persfield's just kind of finding out a little bit more detail. So I'm gonna let
You might
her
need to
come
take like a
back and
medication at period
let me know what's going on,
time
and then
intervals.
we'll determine kind of where to go from here. So we'll just kind of recess in place.
All right. Thank you so much, guys. I'm so far behind on catching up with you guys. Super shout out to Nick Starro. You are welcome. Thank you so much for supporting and sending some love this way, but you can stream snipe for free over lunch. I don't know if you guys are still sniping. But sorry you started sniping right as they put the pew-pews on the screen, which YouTube does not like. So hopefully they don't get both of us for that. But thank you so much. You are always welcome to stream snipe for the free 99, Nick. And then Otto! I always love seeing Otto. Otto, I am so late. We are going to do a 60-second vent session. And my vent is going to be gifts in all caps because that's Otto's favorite thing to say when someone gifts in the chat. And now it's Otto giving the gifts. So shout out to Otto. Thank you so much. And you guys can go crazy with your all caps vent session. We've probably been a little bit overdue for one. We haven't had one yet today. So there you go. Have fun with that. And then let's see. Ballerina thinks Steele is proving that Woody did it. I think the main might not be who did it, because it could be Threat. It could be anyone else that might be represented in that video. I think it was JR in the chat who suggested maybe the individual in the orange vest was supposed to represent Lucci. So, you know, bringing YFN into the imagery, possibly proving third-party culprit going on right there.
All right, so we're gonna have the jury back out, wrap up, I guess. You're saying, Mr. Steele, that we can wrap up this topic fairly quickly and then we'll break for lunch. And
They're gonna
it
have-
sounds like she's just feeling okay now, but will sort of keep us posted, so.
Okay.
Okay, and Mr. Copeland as well.
They're gonna have lunch after a bombshell of whatever is about to come out here with this. I'm a gangster, I only want to be seen as a gangster, and if he asks any questions about it right after, then they'll close up and go to lunch on that note. Thank you so much, AI Designs, for the super sticker. Recuse Judge Glanville, you kill me every time. How are the mics working? Adam Abadi and I spent hours fixing them last night. Panic!
We're breaking.
Well, if this will be a clean kind of place for us to stop, sure.
It'll be fine.
Okay.
Any way you say we'll be fine.
And yes, G-Lander, the state is against Kenneth Copeland being shown to be a gangster. Bad character evidence about Kenneth Copeland. The one who we found out, Michael Sprinkle, was charged with, you know, Demikian Garlington, I think Shannon Stillwell, and maybe Demise McMullen was the fourth person. I'm not sure about the fourth person. Or maybe it was Zachary Lil D initially, but somehow those charges got dropped. And here today, he has the immunity, so we can secure his testimony. So very, very interesting. And seems extremely self-serving to the state to limit that character evidence. It seems more prejudicial to the state's argument, and the state does not get that protection. They're trying to say it would prejudice Kenneth Copeland. But I think their real issue is it would prejudice them, their own argument. And thank you so much, China Eyes, gifting 5 more memberships. So many presents in the chat. Yay. Thank you so much, China Eyes. Steele has a poster board? Maybe I didn't see that earlier. That's new, right? Did he have that up there earlier? We're getting a poster board from Brian Steele. I'm like watching them all intently because of you guys pointing out the body language. Oh, wait. How far back? I think that was looking about bathroom and lunch. And then the sound has been off for this whole part, so. Yeah, that was the judge, you guys. All right, so we're almost caught back up. We're still on 1.5 till we get there.
Mr. Steele, just, stop wherever you want. I mean, if you've got 15 more minutes or 20 more minutes or whatever before the next natural break, that's fine. All right, thank you very much. Go ahead, Mr. Steele.
Your Honor, with the court's permission, I'd like to publish to the jury Jeffrey Williams of JW 246, specifically the time frame 5:04 through 5:12. And Mr. Copeland, if you could listen to it, and I just want to ask you some questions, okay? All right, you might need your earplugs if you want to use them.
At the end of the day, I got a story to tell.
Yeah.
You want to listen to it? Or don't you listen to these niggas that ain't did nothing gangster, nothing tougher than they like? So.
Were the people around you?
Mr. Copeland, are we able to hear what you said during that interview?
Yeah, I heard it.
And you don't need me to explain. Tell the jurors what you were saying to the interviewer.
What you mean?
What was
What was I in it?
Yeah, can you tell the jurors, please?
Well, I did an interview, and well, I got to hear the question that he asked me.
Okay, let me ask you this. Some jurors may not know what off the porch is. Can you tell them what that is?
It's they interview rappers, upcoming rappers, and ask questions about the music and your background and stuff like that. That's what you ask?
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
And this was done approximately April 29, 2020. Do you remember that?
It was done. I don't know when.
Do you remember it was done during COVID, if that matters at all?
Before I went back to jail.
Okay. And in that segment, the jurors heard it, but you're explaining that you're a real gangster, not these other people who are pretending. That I'm not saying that's a quote, but something like that. That's what you were discussing, or you said. Is that true?
That's what I said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'd like to, and you discussed Jeffrey Williams in this. If you remember, I could play for you, but if you remember off the porch interview, is that true?
All right.
You said he was like a role model. He blew up, or whatever the right word is. True?
Well, he showed us that it was real.
I'd like to show you, or play for you, if you don't mind. You might need your earpiece again. This is 8:59 to 9:07. I'm going to ask you the same type of questions. Just what did you say? What did you mean? I'm going to ask you the same type of questions. What did you say and what did you mean?
All right.
Same thing.
Because I had a pride thing. Like, I don't want to be labeled as nothing but a gangster. So you look at me anything other than that, you got a problem. I'm going to slap the shit out of you. But whenever I...
Did you hear that? You hear what you said?
I think we all heard.
Yeah. And what you're expressing is that's what you want people to look at you as. That you're tough.
No, I just wanted people to know, not to look at me. I wanted them to know
that you're tough.
I ain't tough. I just ain't scared.
All right. Now, you also put on your social media, just go back.
Yeah.
number Jeffrey Williams, 236B, as in Barry. And with the court's permission, can Mr. Kokomo just show it to Mr. Copeland?
I'm sorry, is this the same one? The off the porch? This is a different one.
This
Did you
is a
say
different
236B this time? Okay, sorry, I didn't know if you said 246, so
46 was the last one.
that's what I thought, so wasn't sure whether we were talking about the same one or a different one. All right. Yeah, he may. 236B, is that what you said? Mr. Steele B.
236B is correct.
Okay.
Did you see that, Mr. Copeland? Do you recognize that as your social media account at one time?
Yeah.
Okay. Your Honor, I move for the admission of Mr. Williams, and it's 236B as in Barrett.
It's admitted,
Can Mr. Kokomo please display, Your Honor?
yes.
Mr. Kokomo, Mr. Copeland, I apologize. I want